Mic check 1 2. Mic check. Mic check. Miggity miggity miggity. Mic check. Mic check 1 2. Mic check. Mic check. Mic check 1 2. Mic check 1 2. Mic check. Mic check. Mic check. Mic check 1 2. Can you hear me? Can you hear me? Mic check 1 2. Mic check 1 2. 1 2 1 2. Mic check. Mic miggity miggity miggity. Mic check 1 2. What's happening, people? What's crack-a-lacking? Welcome back to the Random Show. Welcome back to the Random Show. I know it's been a long time. I know it's been a while. Apologies for the radio silence and stuff, but you know, yeah, life has been lifing. Life has been lifing, but we're here. Big up everybody that's here. Appreciate all of you. Thank you for joining me once again. We're back once again, day 1 of the 31-day marathon stream. Hopefully this time I can get through the entire thing without having a break, but you know, sometimes life be lifing. But here we are. Thank you for joining me once again. I appreciate to have you all with me here right now, whether you're watching this live or you're watching this after the fact. I appreciate you on this historic day 1. I think this might be the 7th day 1 or the 8th day 1 or the 9th day 1. Regardless, it's day 1 of 31. Thank you for joining me once again on the Random Show. I appreciate every single one of you. However long you watch this, 2 minutes, 3 minutes, 4 minutes, 5 minutes, 10 minutes. I appreciate every single one of you for joining in and hanging out with me. It's never taken for granted. Today's show is going to probably be split up into 2 because this Tfatk case show is pretty long. So today's show is probably going to be split up in 2. So in case some of you are up late and you don't have the time to watch it now, don't worry. I'll probably carry on the watch along tomorrow. So there'll be a part 2 of day 1 tomorrow. You get me? So or maybe I'll do that, or maybe that'll be the behind the paywall. I don't know. I'll figure it out. But we'll do half of the Tfatk now, and we'll do the other half of it later because it's like a 2-hour plus show with Brendan and flipping Tim Kennedy. So we'll try and get through as much of that as possible. Plus all the other stuff we had to get on, talk about, you know how it is, all that good stuff on the Random Show. Hopefully we'll also do a Taz, I think, tomorrow, or maybe after this show if I have time. Probably tomorrow though. There'll probably be a Taz coming out as well, so keep an eye out for that if you like that sort of jazz, all that stuff in between. And that's about it really in terms of housekeeping, updatey type of stuff. Not really much else to report. Big up the chat. Big up everybody tuning in. Big up Don Dota. I see you. Younger Brothers, I see you. Big Booth, Jordan Ray, My Nuts, Timo Kazi, The Black American, Boba Fett. Big up everybody. Appreciate you all. So, not waste more of your time. Let's just jump right into it. First thing I want to talk about is this regarding No Jumper. The first thing I want to talk about is this regarding No Jumper adjacent news. So as some of you guys know, 3 out of these 4 guys used to be associated or worked at No Jumper. They've all left now and started their own podcast called Reconnected, right? Cool. Long story less long, the person who probably has the biggest beef or the deepest beef with Adam22 since leaving No Jumper, or even before leaving No Jumper, is Housephone. This guy here, right? This guy here, Housephone, had a pretty, I'd say somewhat intense relationship fractured towards the end with Adam22. It all came to a head when Adam22 had on this transgender sex worker person on the show, and that person had some relations with Housephone unbeknownst to most of the public. Adam22 got that person on the stream. I don't think Adam22 was actually on the show. I'm not too sure. Was he on the show? No, he wasn't on the episode. He was actually on the episode interviewing this person, and they divulged that, you know, them and Housephone had some sexual relations. A lot of the fans were upset about it because Adam22 didn't edit out the bit where that person said what they said, because I think it was a pre-recorded interview. It wasn't a live stream interview. So Adam22 could have easily edited out that section. He didn't. Adam22's defense is he told an editor to edit it out. The editor forgot, and then they made it live, and by the time it was live, everybody clipped it, so it was already gone. It was too late. On top of that, Housephone and Adam were having a bit of a bad time, if I'm not mistaken, during No Jumper. I think that was a period where Housephone wasn't turning up to shows. He turned up super late. He was a bit inconsistent. I think there's also a time when he was, hardcore into the drugs, self-admittedly, so he was all over the place and being a little bit unreliable. Essentially, that all came to a head when they eventually sat down on the stream together, and I think Adam22 basically suggested or made it seem like he paid for Housephone's mum's funeral, and Housephone's mum had recently passed. Then it was kind of a raw situation, and Adam22 made it seem like he paid for the funeral. Housephone flipped. They go into some kind of fight. I'm sure you've seen the viral clip of Housephone throwing the water towards Adam22. They were about to scrap, and then AD came in between them, split them. They didn't end up scrapping. So soon after that, Housephone left, right? So everybody else kind of followed suit. Blasey followed him. This guy here followed him. And this guy, Tfatk Potlord, wasn't ever really an official host on No Jumper, but he also kind of followed suit as well because they were left. And I've been wondering, again, I know I keep repeating this, and I know the answer's easy. It's just clout, and I know it, right? But I've been wondering on this particular stream of mine, why does it seem, or why is it people who were on No Jumper who leave under bad circumstances, usually because of something Adam22 did to them or something Adam22 didn't do for them, but they've all got reasons to hate the guy. Why is it they all seem to come back running? They all seem to come back around. They all seem to come back crawling back. What is it about Adam22 who does, for lack of a better term, come across like a bit of a dickhead? And I don't really mind it, by the way. It's not a criticism of Adam22, because I'm all for being unapologetically yourself, whatever that may be. If you're a cunt, you're a cunt. If you're a good person, you're a good person. But just be who you are. Be 100% you. Don't hide. Don't, Don't pretend. Don't lie. All that sort of shit. So this Adam22, I feel like wherever he is, he's exactly what it says in the tin. He's pretty transparent, I think, in terms of what he is and what he's about. So why is it about him, despite him being his unapologetic self, those people always want to come back to him, even though you treat him like shit? Don't know what it is. Why I say this is because fast forward now to nowadays, Potlord for some reason has been on the phone now, I feel like, to Adam22 2 or 3 times. He called him when he was on stream with Housephone. He called him again on stream when something happened. I forgot what it was. But it seems like Potlord, this guy here, is kind of worming his way back into No Jumper orbit. Which is weird as well, because Adam22 has said some very not so nice things about Potlord and his wife, and the fact that he's got yellow eyelids and shit, or yellow pupils or whatever. He said some mad shit about him and his wife or whatever, right? Stuff that you probably think a lot of men will probably not forgive. Potlord did forgive it. Now he's coming back in. So recently he called up Adam22 on the show, and they had a bit of a conversation about something, and it seemed like he was all pally, and I was like, I wonder how Housephone's gonna feel about his friend, one of his co-hosts, deciding to call up Adam and try and worm his way back into No Jumper's good books. How is he gonna feel about that? Well, we got the answer on the recent episode of Reconnected, episode number 113. Housephone finally gets to confront Tfatk, aka Potlord, about his recent dalliance, recent communication with Adam22. So I'm curious to see, because I haven't listened to this myself in full. I'm going to react to it in real time. I'm curious to see how Potlord is going to explain why he's suddenly getting pally with Adam22. And I'm curious to see the kind of energy Housephone has for it, because I don't know, if I hate somebody and you're my friend, you should hate them too, That's how it always should be, There shouldn't be no in-between thing, but I could be wrong. Hey, yo, big up Gamebred Footballer as well.
Powerful bunch.
Big up Bloodcut Gamebred Footballer. I appreciate it, brother. Thank you for being a member for 2 months. You're a G. Big up my guy Gamebred. You're a fucking bad boy. Let's continue. Let's see what Tfatk has to say about this shit.
You need to get back in.
No, they would not.
All right, but anyways,
wait, hold on. Speaking of getting back in, forgot to. Damn, that was crazy.
Thank God. Shut the fuck
I had
up.
a good transition. Speaking of getting back in, Tfatk
What up?
called into No Jumper about a week or 2 ago, trying to get back in some good graces.
First of all, bitch, I was.
Okay, so first of all, the weird thing about it is I just remembered, none of these guys can really have smoke or hold smoke for Tfatk. As much as Tfatk is really embarrassing and it's kind of cringe and weird for him to suck him back up to Adam 22 again. If memory serves me right, after House Phone left No Jumper after that big argument where he throws the water at Adam, he's about to fight him, all this sort of nonsense, right? Isn't it? Am I mistaken for thinking or remembering? Didn't House Phone DJ for Adam 22 or No Jumper or Lena or something? There was some sort of event. Soon after that happened, he went to go DJ for them. And he took a picture with them. Cool. And I'm pretty sure Blasey, during the beef or when they all left, didn't Blasey go back on No Jumper 2 and do a podcast with like, what's his face? Lush and Comparada. I know he later admitted, or he later said Adam 22 kind of twanged him and like, you know, got the one over on him because I think Adam 22 told him to come on a show and he didn't know Adam 22 was going to be on there and he kind of got ambushed, allegedly. I don't really believe that, but that's what how Blasey says. So these two guys have kind of gone back on their word, I'd say, or on their previous actions and decided to kind of, you know, sit on fucking Adam 22's lap. So they can't really, you know, point fingers and get all fucking whatever with Potlord because they did the same thing really themselves. They kind of set the pace. But I could be wrong.
Fucking giving you props.
Wait. I didn't see the whole clip, so that's why I'm asking.
Yeah. So
Powerful bunch.
basically, I was on.
Big up Young Old Vibes.
Happy late Father's Day. Hope you enjoyed our 13 kids.
yeah. Big up Young Old Vibes. Me and the 13 kids had a fucking blast. Big up Young Old Vibes. Big up all the fathers out there. Happy Father's Day to all the fathers. We rarely get recognized really out here. No one really gives a shit about fathers for the most part, but you know, fathers recognize fathers, sons recognize fathers, you know? So we appreciate you wherever you guys are, whether you're a father to a cat, a dog, a child, you are appreciated and seen and heard. Big up yourselves.
On stream, right? I was on stream just chilling or whatever.
What you been going crazy on, by the way?
Thank you so much, bro. I appreciate that.
Nah, you the calling homie.
Yeah.
Yeah, I do be calling. But look, all right, so look. I was on stream just chilling. We was doing whatever I was doing on stream, and the chat was like going crazy, saying, "Yo, Lush just said he's a better rapper than House Phone live on stream." So I was like, "All right." Because me and Hush like squash everything, whatever. So I was just like, "All right, let me call Lush real quick right now, right?" So I called Lush. He didn't answer. Right, boom, went on about the stream, and everyone was like, "You know what? Adam is sitting next to him. Call Adam."
So now this is why I don't rate it. Potlord should have stood on business and be like, look, I called him. Why? Why not? You went back to him and played for him. You went back and DJ for the guy after he said he paid for your mom's funeral. And Blasey, you were holding out your friend, but you went back on the podcast and sat there and complimented and blush. I did what you guys did. Fuck you. You know, that's what he should have said. Instead, now he's blaming the fans. He's blaming his own stream viewers for why he called them to him too. Oh, the chat told me. The chat was saying. The chat were all spamming. The chat was all, what? Potlord doing a Brendan Shaw blaming the team. It's the team's fault. Okay, cool.
Adam. So I'm like, all right, y'all want me to call Adam? They're like, yep, call Adam. So I call Adam. Adam answered. So boom, the first thing I say was, yo, Lush, just so you know, by the way, you ain't a better rapper than House Phone. And
that's a fact.
That's where it came from. It was none of that. All the hippity hoopla is cool, bro.
Nah, like, you signing a peace treaty?
I didn't do nothing.
Hoopla is crazy.
I didn't do nothing. I just called in to defend the homie gang. I was just like, nah.
I guess the long and short of this is that it's just different out there in LA, innit? It's just a bit different, really. It's just a bit different. Because I think in any other walk of life, in any other place in the world, if somebody does the stuff that Adam has done to these guys or to other people associated with them in terms of scamming people, like even if it's a minor thing, just because that's your friend, you just ride with your friend. Doesn't matter what the slight was, you know. You just ride with your friend. Really, it's a bit annoying though when that happens because sometimes you ride with your friend, you're basically you declare somebody an op because that's your friend's op, and then years later that person, your friend and that op decide to become friends. You know, that can make things really weird, and it kind of leaves you in a weird position because who knows, in that time in between, you might have got into a scrap with that person, you might have had your own falling out with that person, and now you're left, you know, holding your fucking nuts while these guys are fucking lollygagging all over the place. You get me? But I honestly think in any other walk of life outside of this little LA bubble, this would be seen as a bit weird, really, right? It would seem a bit weird. Adam 22 scums House Phone Hassan leaves No Jumper, in the half. Blasey kind of follows him as his friend. They all kind of start this podcast basically off the back of leaving No Jumper. They do a good thing actually. I think when they left No Jumper, they didn't actually trash Adam or No Jumper. They didn't do that whole back on Fig thing where they use Adam and No Jumper as content. They kind of just did their own thing, and I really do enjoy watching Reconnected, to be honest. But then everyone slowly starts to worm their way back into Adam 22's good graces again. Like, what is that about? Like, I'd be honestly, that sort of stuff would really piss me off, and probably this is another example, or a small example, as to why I generally don't have friends. Because I couldn't handle this sort of shit. Like, this little interpersonal stuff, I couldn't really handle this. This is the type of stuff that would annoy me more than somebody, I don't know, more than a friend lending money and not paying you back. This would annoy me way more. Like, little things like this, like, why do I have to tell you not to talk to this guy? I'm not going to tell you that because that sounds moist, but you should know if I'm not speaking to this guy and we're not on good terms, all right, why are you going and calling him and having some kiki hee hee thing? But hey, what do I know?
Also, and to be honest, I was really clip farming on some real shit. I was just like, nigga, I even said it before. I was like, I'm about to clip farm. Don't God put some tobacco in this, please, gang. Like,
mind your fucking business.
But if they invited you back to come speak your piece, would you?
Wait, hold on. Wait, before you even answer that though, hold on.
Let me roll this actually, please.
Because
Tok's trying to smoke to kind of break the tension. I don't like how Blasey said that to him though, because Blasey was on No Jumper with fucking Comparator and Lush. That's what Tok should have said back to him. Like, what are you talking about? You was on that show sitting down with your shirt on and shit. Like, why allow this?
What if they let you live stream on it?
Negative.
Listen, I'm gonna take that explanation as that's the explanation because I didn't see the full clip, but I just heard y'all talking and just being on some cool shit. I didn't hear the music part or whatever.
Yeah. That's where it all stemmed from, was the music shit but he just said his piece in the beginning. That's what got clipped, which is cool. Like, you know what I'm saying?
That's what I saw. Yeah.
That's what got clipped. And that's
why I was like, damn, why'd y'all randomly just get it on the phone? But then also, they was on our ass when we called them, and we was clearly trolling that.
Yeah.
So it's like, I felt that, but I just,
Yeah, that's what it was. That's really what it stemmed from.
It seems like the fans care way more about this than they do, innit? Or maybe they do care, but they're just trying to. Maybe it's a thing that we do nowadays, isn't it? Everyone has this thing now, which I kind of like. I'm not gonna lie, I kind of enjoy this like this kind of hypocrisy, this hypocrisy troll thing people do. I'm sure some of you have noticed it, where, for instance, like, I don't know, a very buxom, big-titted fucking OnlyFans girl will be like posting stuff on social media about themselves, right? Mostly revolve around their tits. But then from time to time, they'll post a screenshot of some guy in their DMs saying some very lewd things about their tits. And they'll call them out, like, oh my God, men are disgusting, blah, blah, blah. And then some of you, sensible people, will be out there thinking, hold on, your whole content is like your tits. And then you're surprised that you are attracting or receiving this type of energy. Like, but look what you're putting out there, right? But I kind of enjoyed it. I'm not gonna lie, I kind of enjoyed that hypocrisy, nonsense sort of like troll thing going on, where somebody says one thing, does another thing, but then says another thing, but then does another thing. It's constantly like flipping and flapping. I'm not gonna lie, I kind of enjoy it. So maybe this is what they're doing, where deep down maybe they don't really have that much beef with Adam, but because it ended the way it ended and everyone saw it in 4K, they kind of feel obliged to keep up the charade that they still got beef with him, and they don't really. They kind of got over it, or because they want to secure the bag, they want to get the numbers up on their pod, whatever. Maybe that's what's going on, but they kind of can't go fully, into the No Jumper thing and go back on that platform because the fans will revolt. Like, I think there's a portion of Reconnected fans, if Blasey, Housefun, and Tok decide to go back to No Jumper, or like, drop in for shows here and there, I think there's a portion of their fans that would revolt and just be like, fuck them, So they have to be conscious about that. So they kind of got to play it in the middle, be like, oh. And so Housefun's got to pretend like he's annoyed that Tok went back or called out No Jumper. And, they got to play this little game. Maybe that's what's going on. Maybe they really don't care. It's just this content clout game going on. But it's just funny because I feel like the fans, myself included, are way more invested in this so-called beef than they are, because clearly they're not, because all three of these guys have spoken to the guy again since the whole beef happened in the first place, which isn't really how it works. Usually if you have quote unquote beef with somebody, you don't talk to them again, you know? It kind of ends there. Unless you maybe see each other or something, you know what I mean? It doesn't really, I don't know, you don't really get on the phone and start key and it's not really how it works, but I could be wrong.
Like, and I even said it beforehand. I was like, "Yo, chat, watch this. Everyone's gonna go crazy over this."
So everybody's cap. You're not going back. They keep spamming. They keep spamming.
I feel like you would. I feel like you would for
to do what? I
mean,
got my own
clip farm.
I got my own platform.
Guys,
he already went back.
What if I joined?
Yeah, I know you're not talking.
Yeah, exactly. Thank God. Big up House Phone. They pointed it out. Now look at Blasie's face. He's feeling fucking stupid. He's trying to put pressure on Toke. Oh, you would go back there. You would go, bruh. You were on there. You were there with fucking Compa Raider and fucking Lush. You were there. So big up House Phone. I'm glad somebody brought that up.
No, well, I already did that, so you can't.
But that's what I'm saying.
You can't think I would now. You're next.
What would y'all think? I was like, what would y'all think
not.
if I randomly just I wouldn't like didn't even tell you guys.
You want to know
just saw
some real
the thumbnail.
shit? You want to know some real shit? How I feel if that happened?
Oh shit!
King or a farm.
I would be so hot. I would be like, no way.
He snuck
I am
into the
owed
worst
some
lore.
money. Hell,
For what?
fucking,
You think they're
You are
paying?
my homie, bro.
You think they're paying?
You are my homie. Just the thought of it just gets my blood boiling, bro.
Hey,
How can you say your blood's boiling when you're the one that went under? Anyway, it's all jokes. It's all content. No one gives a shit.
yo, butt boiling is crazy.
But I would probably I'll call you and be like, how was it? I'll ask why'd you do it?
Don't pass it. He said, I'd call you passive aggressive about it.
No.
So how was it? Yo, really? It was good. Oh, it was good.
No, I'll still,
I'm glad.
No, I'll still tear your ass about it for sure.
Hey, yo.
Trying to tear the homie's ass.
Can't talk to some preteens right here, bro. Nah,
Trying to tear the homie's
but
ass is insane, bro.
I don't know who I would see first. If it would be Toke,
It's not Toke.
Ryder,
It's not Toke for sure.
or House Phone.
It's not Toke for sure, bro.
I feel like
No,
I feel like
I'm not
my bet is House
House
Phone.
phone for sure.
House Phone 1,
I got my own platform.
Ryder 2.
I have.
Yeah.
And
that's
honestly,
Toke can't. How can you say you have your own platform if you keep running Better No Jumper? If you've got your own platform, why are you running Better No Jumper? Which makes me believe it's clout, because I don't know. Again, Kick doesn't show you sub counts, and I don't really watch Toke's pod like that or streams, but he does have a decent following on Kick, so it's not like he's struggling for money. And you know, if you believe the No Jumper Reddit, Toke's wife Ali is from a decent, you know, well-to-do background and shit, so they're not struggling financially. So it's not as if Adam 22 is paying this guy. It just must be all a clout thing. Like clout is such a fucking addictive drug that they all can't stay away from it. Even though the guy that they're getting it from is somebody that they've had past issues with, they just cannot keep their hands off it.
I should be 0.
Toke is the closest. He just.
I'm
got off the
0.
phone with
Yeah,
the nigga
yeah,
2
you
years
did
ago.
too.
No, but
I'm barely here.
You just got off the solo.
Wait, I know you're not talking. You DJ'd a party. Ass nigga in
There we go. There we go. Thank God. Someone mentioned it. There we go. Someone finally mentioned it. That's what ruined it all, to be honest. You can't. I don't think if you're house phone, you could be mad at any of your friends talking to Adam 22 again when you fell out with him the way you did in that big explosive way on stream, and then you DJ'd his party. You can't. And that's the thing you have to give Adam 22 credit for. He's really good at kind of humiliating these guys. Let's be real. He's really good. Because I remember the picture. Adam was really smiling in the picture along with Lena standing next to House Phone. Like, yeah, you see? I did what I said. I did what I did to him. I said what I said to him. And he's still here. He's still fucking shucking and jiving. He's still my fucking performing monkey, you know? Like, you can't give Adam 22 credit for it. Like, again, like, I don't like the guy. He doesn't come across the best for me online. But one thing about him is that he's unapologetically himself. You know? He's unapologetically himself. And people just can't seem to get enough of him. Like, no matter what scumbaggy stuff he does to them, they just keep coming back.
Oh, no, after the fact. So let's not talk.
But
Why
what is
wasn't
that?
I invited to the BET weekend party?
Wait, hold
Oh
on.
my god! No, he invited me to W game.
What's up with that?
the
No, wait.
That's
No,
fucked up.
Wait. I only invited him because we was on the phone.
Oh, we completely moved past that subject, isn't it, of DJing at the fucking party, huh? Now we're talking about the BET weekend. I wonder why.
We was on the phone, and then the nigga immediately told me, "Hell no, I can't get nobody else in." Did he not?
Yeah, he did
That
say
is
Say what it
insane,
is.
bro.
Nah, I coulda
You
got
coulda
myself
called
in
me
now.
earlier.
Nah, listen.
You couldn't have whoever was paying you to fucking get a little like 2 for 1.
Anyway, that's basically it. That's the drama over. And yeah, man. Look, at the end of the day, no one gives a fuck. It seems like no one really gives a fuck. I think everybody landed on their feet pretty well. The beef probably worked to everybody's favor in that respect, right? Go back to everybody landed on their feet well. Adam 22 probably had the best period ever they had on No Jumper with that crew. T-Rolls, ADs, these guys, right? It was a good little moment they had there. Sharp, everybody. Shame it couldn't last, but you know, maybe it wasn't meant to last. And they all went on to start their own platforms, their own little networks and shit. They're doing live shows. Everyone's kind of okay, really. With the exception of maybe Lush. Lush is the only one that's kind of like an employee and still there. But I think everyone's doing well. Even Yuri, he's doing pretty decently on fucking Kick. Toka's doing good. These guys have got their thing. So it worked out for the best. So I think if you're a fan from the outside in looking at these guys funny, you can look at them funny, but you have to remember where they're at. They're in LA, Hollywood things, you know. Stuff's a bit weird out there in terms of interpersonal relationships and networking and clout games. It's all bizarre. It doesn't really apply to us like regular people, I guess. Because I think we wouldn't really do this sort of stuff. Maybe you wouldn't. Who knows? Maybe you just got to secure the bag. Who fucking knows? But yeah, it's just a funny situation to observe from afar. I don't really have much investment into it, but it's just funny because, like I said previously, and I'm going to say until I'm blue in the face, I just don't get the Adam thing. I really don't, because he doesn't come across that well on the internet. And if he doesn't come across well on the internet, I'd imagine part of it is because he probably doesn't come across that well in person. So what is it about that guy when he has dealings with people, you know, personal dealings, business dealings, and they fall out? Why can't they seem to just let go and walk away and go do their own thing? Why do they always seem to go back? Sharp's called back. I think there was a leak that said Smack was talking to him on DMs or something. I think T-Rail has unblocked him recently. I think AD might have said something to him recently. Like, everyone's had like a little, you know, dip back in the fucking Adam pool for some reason. I just don't know why. Like, it doesn't seem like somebody that it would be worth trying to spin the block for or something. But everyone's spinning the block for Adam 22. So yeah, maybe I'm seeing something our people are seeing, or maybe I'm not seeing something other people are seeing. Maybe that's the whole point. Last thing on the reconnected shit. Adjacent news. This is kind of sad, to be fair. RIP to House Phone's friend and business partner for what's the shoes called again? Oh, I forgot the shoes name. What's the shoes he got? What they called again? High Rollers. So I know this guy because he was the co-founder, business partner with House Phone and High Rollers. House Phone's kind of spoken about him pretty well here and there on pods. I didn't really know what he looked like. I'm not going to lie, I didn't really dig too deep into it. But I know that he's spoken very well of his friend and the fact that High Rollers would have never been a business or come about if it wasn't for him. Maybe House Phone had the more creative idea of like how to do the shoe and the colorways. But allegedly this guy was the real, you know, guy behind the scenes who kind of put the whole thing into operation and launched it. And without him, it wouldn't be where it was. So House Phone was always very quick to kind of make that clear. That was a kind of a two-man operation. Just maybe House Phone was kind of the face of it because he's the more popular one. But this guy called Zoo, I think his name is, right, was a person that kind of really helped. Or I think his name is Co. So I think it's Co. My bad. I think it's Co. Is the one that kind of helped the situation go forward. So it's really sad to hear. And I think this is why, I think they mentioned in the pod, actually, this is why they missed the previous week's pod, because this guy recently passed away. So I'm assuming they were kind of sorting all that stuff out. It must have been really crazy news to hear. So this is caption courtesy of House Phone's Instagram. It says, "My best friend, my brother, my business partner. Thank you for everything you did for me, bro. You changed my life. You had my back when nobody else did. Everything we talked about, we did it. I'ma keep this shit going. I love you, man. Till the next life, brother. 7-7 boys." And he's got pictures of him and his friend hanging out and stuff. Who he launched High Rolls with, and somebody I guess he's known for a long time. Unfortunately, passed away recently. which is really, really, really sad, to be honest. Another one as well. All these put pictures from 2017 with the guy. Crazy, man. Crazy, crazy, crazy. And according to what I've heard online, people are saying that it was some sort of like skateboarding accident or something. I read on the No Jumper Reddit that it might have been the similar sort of thing that happened to Housephone that led to him breaking his arm or something. I guess in this respect, this guy unfortunately didn't come, wasn't so fortunate, and unfortunately lost his life. That's what I read online anyway. Not that it matters how he passed away really, because you know, someone passed away like this at such a young age is going to be distressful anyway. So yeah, man, R.I.P. to Ko, R.I.P. to Ko, R.I.P. to Ko. Moving on. There's this story going around that I'm not too sure if this is true. Hopefully this is just like a misunderstanding, or it's just something we're not too clear about, but allegedly Lamine Yamal, the teenage sensation Barcelona player who's probably got on the path to greatness, right? Probably going to win a countless amounts of Ballon d'Ors with the way he's playing at the moment, right? He's 17 years old, not even 18 yet, and he's absolutely tearing it up. Allegedly, or not even allegedly, according to various articles, he's currently on vacation with this woman, Spanish influencer, who's 30 years old. Lamine Yamal is 17. This woman is 30. Either she's 30 or in her late 20s. And the thing that first comes to mind when I saw this story is, could you imagine the uproar if the roles were reversed? And I only say that to say, I don't really care, not gonna lie. No, I don't really care. But what I do care about is just how much people don't realize they're full of shit, and how much people don't realize when they're being hypocrites. Because if you're gonna flip a switch and go crazy, and the timeline's gonna be full of mad people calling somebody a pedo, if it was opposite, right? If this was the opposite, if this was the other way around, if this was a 30-year-old man with a 17-year-old girl, the social media would erupt in a way that it's never erupted before, right? It would be going crazy. But when it's the other way around, people don't really seem to care as much. There's not a lot of like attention or a lot of conversation put around grooming or around PDF stuff. People kind of let it, you know, bygones be bygones. Me personally, I feel like this is less to do with Lamine Yamal and less to do with her as well, and more to do with his parents. I think this is probably a bad reflection on his parents. His parents are probably bozos, right? For letting their teenage son go out on holiday with a fucking 30-year-old woman. It's fucking insane. Maybe they don't have a choice in it because he's becoming a young man, he's a footballer, multi-millionaire, But I think this is more of a failure of the parents than it is of Lamine Yamal or the girl themselves. I'm not going to blame the girl or Lamine Yamal. I think I'm going to blame mostly the parents for allowing this sort of shit to run. Because if this is, I'm assuming this isn't the first time he's done this. I'm assuming he's probably maybe got a taste for the older ladies, who knows? But I'm assuming this isn't the first time it's happened. And the fact that they're not protecting him from these type of situations is a bit concerning. But, you know, maybe he's going to learn the hard way. Maybe it might work out. Who knows? But if this is true and he is out on vacation as a 17-year-old with a 30-year-old woman, it just goes to show, man, the double standards out there, isn't it? Because if this was the other way around, could you imagine? Could you imagine the fucking headlines if this was a fucking 30-year-old guy on holiday with a 17-year-old? And it's not like he's 18. No, he's 17. Like, whether it's legal or not, that's a child. You know what I mean? It's fucking insane. It really is absolutely insane. But I also want to know, like, I don't know, man. I swear, if I was 17 and I was about to be like the world's best football player and I had the world on my feet, I'm not going to lie, I'm not looking at 30-year-old women. Maybe max 25. Max. Even that, still boomerish. But max will be 25. But mostly, I'll be trying to scoop up all the fucking shorties that are within my age range. You know? That's what you'd kind of want to do, no? Because I don't know. The whole like older women thing, I think it's something that happens when you're like I think maybe you've had that period or phase when you're like 14, maybe as a guy. Maybe there's like a hot teacher that you might fancy in school or something, or maybe your friend's got an older sister. But 30 is way too, like, 30? When you're 17, like, where do you even meet 30-year-olds, you know? Like, I don't know. But maybe it's different. Maybe it's opposite way. Maybe because maybe it's a thing of social media too. Maybe if you're a 17-year-old kid now and you're on social media, maybe your appetite, maybe you're not, maybe what you see online. In terms
Powerful bunch.
Because of disease.
If it was reversed, he'd be headlining comedy shows.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, exactly. He'd be a co-host on the Golden Hour. Exactly. Because of disease. He'd be headlining comedy shows. Yeah, he'd have a Netflix special. I don't know, man. I don't know. It's wild, isn't it? It's just wild. Like, I'm more fast. I understand why she's there. Like, I have no real complaints or bothersome issues with the girl. Like, she's a shark, you know. She sees talent. She's getting there early. Whatever. I don't really have much of an issue with her. We all know why she's there. I'm just curious as to, like, what does this little ninja see in that? Like, what? Like, bruh, you got the world at your feet, man. You could have potentially anyone, especially within your age range. Why her? Or is it one of those things, you know, when people do, you know, they say like developing kinks comes about in a weird way, where like maybe he might have had like a nanny that he fancied when he was a kid, and that nanny was like a little bit older, or maybe similar age, and then he just develops a liking for like older women. It starts off super innocently like that. Maybe it's a film you watch, right, and you love the fucking mum in it or whatever, or one of the fucking cast, you know, and then that becomes like a thing. So maybe that's what's happened. Maybe, you know, he just kind of sees a nanny, a teacher in there. I don't know. But 17, I don't know. Big up Asada Z, bro. She's 30 and hot as fuck. What the fuck are you talking about? I'm not saying she's not hot as fuck. I'm just saying if I was 17, I don't think I was looking at 30-year-olds. I'm not gonna lie. No matter how hot they were, I don't think I'd be out on the holiday with 30-year-olds. Not gonna lie. At most, like I said, 25 would make more sense, because that might be some like starlet, that might be some R&B singer, that might be some movie actress or some shit that you're into. But I don't think it'll be a 30-year-old. I'm not gonna lie. The 30 would be a little bit too old. If you're 17, again, there's just that. I'm just talking about a teenager. Like, what would you like as a teenager? What would they look like? I don't know. But maybe it's just as simple as she's hot. Who knows? Pick up Booth McGee. I feel you though. She's around my age range, and if this is this new trend, I only got old ladies to pick from. Pick up Booth McGee. Them mummy issues can be running deep, probably. Bro on cloud 9 though, that's for sure. No, for sure he's loving it, for sure. Like, can you imagine? Like, for him anyway, maybe it's a good thing, right? As crass as it seems, you guys know what I'm talking about. For him, it's a good thing. Don't need to go into what I'm talking about, but man them, gal them know what I'm talking about. For him, it's a good thing. 17, 30, like, you know, he's fucking winning. And look, you know, look at the smile on man's face, you know? Like, he's loving it, but I don't know. I'm just thinking like, if you're a multi-millionaire, probably going to be a billionaire within your lifetime, footballer, with all the fucking women to pick
bunch.
from.
At first I disagreed, but you've convinced me. It's cringe to wife up a 30-year-old when you're 17 and can get anyone.
And that's the key word. Big up James Banks. Wife. This is like a relationship to me. This doesn't look like a fling. If he's in Vegas or if he's out on a boat somewhere and he's got a fucking a herd of baddies with him, and she happens to be one of them, win. Right? He's got girls from 18, let's say, to 32, to 35, win. But this was like a relationship. But this all makes sense. Doesn't that other kid at Real Madrid, what's his face? The other kid, the Brazilian kid, doesn't he also have a bit of an older girlfriend? Maybe it's just this younger generation. Maybe that generation like older women. It's just one of those things. Because I'm pretty sure that Brazilian kid, the one that plays up front for Real Madrid, the striker that they signed from Brazil recently, I'm sure he's got a really older fiance. I think they're even engaged. I'm pretty sure they're engaged. So maybe that's all part of it. what's this? Yeah, and that's the girl right there. What's her name? Fatiza. That's her, right? That's her there, I think, right? Let's I just want to check her Instagram. Let's see what she's saying. What's her name? What's her name? Fatiza, right? Is that it? Is it Fatiza? No, Fativa Cares. Is it Fati Vasquez? Whoops. Fati Vasquez ZD. ZD.
Powerful bunch.
Big up Space Guy.
The heart wants what the heart wants.
Yeah, exactly. Big up Space Guy. Big up Black American. 30 to 45 and 17, they are equally horny. Not to be crass myself, but I think they are matching energy. Yeah, fair play. Okay, cool. So this is the lady, right? Fati Vasquez. So I'm assuming she's Spanish. Probably, right? Probably Spanish. Let's see what the man them saying. Let's go through the pictures. You're 17 years old. Are you wifing this up? I can't take off the sound. She's making some sweet potato shit, I think, here. Babe, get a proper knife, man. Come on now. Making some sweet potatoes and so she's making some hot girl munch, some hot girl food. What you guys saying? Sonaz did well. She's making some minced meat and some sweet potatoes, I'm assuming, right? Standard munch. Actually, let me go to some more pictures. This is just fucking boring. She's making food, that one. This is her working out. This is her working out, having a good time. Cool. Hot girl workouts. What you guys saying in the stream chat? Yeah, but she probably would have looked at me like, yeah, little brother, AJ. Nah, still got a whole life abroad. Cheeked up though. Yeah, she's cheeked up a little, slightly, I think. Slightly.
Powerful bunch.
We got A. Martinez.
Lil, ninja emoji, swatching too much, corn emoji. We had team stuff.
Yeah, probably. Yeah, true. Probably it's a lot of it has to do with the corn. You're right. Maybe it's a corn thing. This is her at Azores recap. This is a recap of her at the Azores. She stayed in a nice apartment there. Her in a pink dress, having a good time. Great. That's a grown up, isn't it? That's a grown up lady, man. Like, I don't know, man. I wonder how she feels about this. Like, I know she's securing the bag, but like, lady, you're a grown woman. Like, you're a grown ass woman, bro. Yo, it's nuts. That's a lady. That's a lady. Like, what are you doing? Holy shit. Anyway, let's meet that one. She's definitely, less attractive now than I know she's messing with a child, yeah. Oh, I don't know. Recap from the Azores again. Look at, what's she at? She driving a Fiat Punto. She's definitely going to get a nicer car than that with fucking Lamine Yamal's money. That's for sure. Cool. Many pictures of her with her butt the other way around, which is nice to see, by the way. Reminding you what the assets are. Lamine Yamal saw this shit. It went crazy.
Bunch.
We got Bert Reynolds.
Members your date need a booster seat.
Exactly, yo. Lamine Yamal saw this shit and went crazy, bro. Big up Lamine Yamal. Miss Fevs de este fendi en la comple de mi tata. What the fuck does that mean? Mi favs from this weekend at my tata's birthday. Fair play. There she is at her tata's birthday. Good looking girl, don't get me wrong. Non ugly lady whatsoever, but this is a grown up, man. This is a fucking grown up. Okay, this is her working out. Me faves workouts. To be fair, this all kind of paid dividends, isn't it? All this hard work she put in finally paid dividends because now she's got a legit potential Ballon d'Or winner on her hands, you know? So all this hard work, all this blood, sweat and tears she put into the gym, maybe some touch-ups here and there, paid dividends because now she's going to be set for life, you know? Because I anticipate she's probably going to get pregnant soon. That's what I anticipate. She might wait until he turns 18, but I anticipate that she's definitely going to get pregnant soon. What an angle. I love girls on social media. Honestly, I love hot girls on social. Just
Powerful bunch.
here's me drinking my drink.
Oh, old ninja emoji taking the youngins. What they supposed to do?
Yeah, true. Big up Black Americans, so true. More hot girl workouts, goblet squats. Yep, all the standard ones, all the ones that you know and love. Goblet squats, leg presses. I'm assuming we're going to see hip thrust soon, right? Are we going to see hip thrust? Is she going to do hip thrust or not? Leg raises and shit. Okay, fair play. What was the other one? Okay. But yeah, man, there she is, isn't it? That she has a weight loss journey too. Don't care about that, to be honest, but fair play, man. Fair play. What's she saying on her stories about this situation? Is she talking? Okay, cool. Let's what's that translation say? So it's sad to see so many people it's sad to see how some people carry so much darkness inside that they get to wish death on someone they didn't even know. What others project speaks more about them than me. I chose to live life with purpose, continue, grow, and surround myself with light. To those who wish me evil, I wish them healing, because no one who is well with himself wishes to destroy another. Girl, you're dating a 17-year-old. I'm sorry. Like, oh my God, this freaking lady. I don't know. Let's see the next one. Let's see the next one. Nothing on there. What's the next one? Okay, cool. I don't know. Again, do I really care? No. I just find it funny that we live in a world where there's obvious double standards, because if this was the other way around, people would be throwing a fit, but they're not throwing a fit now. So let's just move on. So let's get into the main part of the show, which is Tfatk episode number 1096. 1096. For those of you tuning in live, if you're watching this right now, make sure you smash that like button if you haven't already. Give me a little likey down below, please, pretty please. That'd be much appreciated. Thank you so much. Subscribe to the channel if you do want to see more stuff from me, all that good shit. And links to everything else are in the description down below. Discord and all that good shit, Patreon, all that good shit, blah 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 blah. So let's see what these motherfuckers are talking about. Tim Kennedy, Tfatk episode number 1096. Big up Coil and the stream chat as well. Wagwan GG.
Yes, we did, 'cause we back at it again. It's the fighter and the kid.
This is really the fighter and the kid.
Come on, baby.
Yeah, big up Andre. Big up Brendan Murray too.
All right, we have a much more athletic, more handsome, stronger, bigger, younger co-host today. Brian Counts playing grab ass with his family on a cruise in Barcelona.
No, don't say it like that.
I'm not gonna lie, it's kind of hilarious that they boof. that they both moved to Austin, Texas. Brian Callen primarily to get his stand-up career back on track again. Brendan to maybe save money and also maybe to get him back in a good graces of Rogan, or maybe get him back in the comedy scene again, or maybe just to boost Tfatk. And we're not even a month in. And Callen's already missed an episode. We're not even a month into the move. You'd think you're moving to a new place. You want to fucking hit the ground running, bang out as many episodes as you can, try and get some big guests in, especially for the new move, to kind of announce it and shit, blah 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 blah. Nah, Callen's on vacation with his family. And again, think about this way, people in the stream chat. When is the last time anybody in the stream chat over 40 has been on holiday with their parents? If you ever needed a clear example that Brian Callen comes from wealth, not even rich, he's not a rich family, he comes from legit wealth, like affluence and shit, that's the best representation of it. Only people with money like that go on holiday with their parents. Like, that's not a normal thing, you know? Going on a cruise to Barcelona with your parents, or not, I don't think they went on a cruise from America to Barcelona. They probably went on a cruise around Barcelona, I'm assuming. Maybe, I don't know. Whatever the deal is, Brian goes on holiday or on vacation with his parents a lot. Like, he goes like to Greece, all these places with his like father and his mother. That's definitely some rich people shit. That kind of reminds me of Succession, you know, where they all go abroad together, stay in the best hotels, eat at the best places, argue all the time, but it's always a family thing. Like, I don't know what regular civilian person family can afford to take like grown up, because most likely Michael Callen's paying for that whole shit. I don't think I know for sure my parents couldn't afford taking me and my brothers on fucking holiday. You know what I mean? That's an expense, mate. Taking 3 grown-ass men plus yourselves and accommodation and spending money on holiday, that's a lot of fucking money. So if you needed an example as to why Callen might come from wealth, that's the greatest example of it. But I'm just shocked personally that Callen's already taken time off. Because you know when you start a new job and you sometimes got a holiday booked and you feel kind of guilty about taking a holiday, or sometimes if you're about your money and you've got a holiday booked, you sometimes will cancel your holiday and just take the hit. You swallow the hit, because sometimes, you know, most low-cost airlines, or most airlines in general, don't really have good refund policies anyway. As soon as you buy a ticket, it's kind of gone if you don't take it. But you usually just remember, you know, you'll probably prioritize your job over the fucking holiday, especially because you don't have any money to spend anyway, right? That's why you needed a fucking job in the first place. But Callen's on vacation, just on vacation. Fucking love it, man. Not even a month in, and Callen's already taking time off.
He's just a rich dude.
Like
but it's
Barcelona, because that's how I'd say it.
Yeah, and this is how I introduce you my kids at Ways to Wells. It's the closest thing you get to Captain America. It's Tim Kennedy, everybody.
Hello.
What's up, big dog?
Dude.
Someone on the subreddit, I saw someone on the subreddit say, Brendan always compares him to Captain America, which is probably on point because they're two fictional characters relating back to Tim Kennedy's, falsehoods in his book, allegedly, and his service and shit. He's called out by a bunch of people he served with for soul and valor and what else. So yeah, that was a funny comment I saw. Big up the person who left that comment.
Dude, awesome seeing you. I can't believe you're in Texas.
I can't either.
I'm like
man.
smiling ear to ear that in 1 week I've got to see you twice.
I know, dude, and I don't bother you. I know you're like you have all your.
You have to fix that.
I know. I have some block with it. You know?
Get over it.
Yeah.
I'm going to say something off the bat that I don't think needs to be said. I'm sure most of you guys have seen it too. This is definitely a fake relationship that's only probably blossoming now because Tim Kennedy got quote unquote cancelled and probably doesn't have as many friends that he used to have, especially the ones that he probably would have liked. And now he's kind of left with Brendan. Brendan seems to have a habit of doing this. He seems to always worm his way into people's lives when they're like at their lowest. Chris D'Elia or Chris Brown. Chris D'Elia is a good example of it. Chris D'Elia was never really that close to Brendan. He's more close to Brian because they came up together. But as soon as Chris D'Elia got cancelled, Brendan kind of slipped in there and became more of Chris D'Elia's friend, you know? Same with this one. Tim Kennedy's going through, you know, probably a tough time with all the lying and the exposing and shit that's happened to him in the last few months and shit. Probably a lot of people that he thought were friends have kind of distanced themselves from him. and he's kind of looked around, got no one else left except for Brendan. But if you're honest about this situation, would you guys agree that maybe Tim Kennedy's doing more for Brendan than Brendan's doing for Tim Kennedy's relationship? Would you say Tim Kennedy's got more clout? I'd say so, innit? I'd say Tim Kennedy's probably got more clout than Brendan.
You're right.
We're neighbors now. You're a fellow Texan.
I know.
I'll have a pair of boots, a hat, and a gun for you.
A gun.
I'm literally in the process of. I'm not joking. I could pull my phone up and show the text as I'm designing a custom pistol for you right now.
Oh, I love it, brother.
Yeah.
Okay. Some white people shit in it, like I don't know, or maybe just some man shit in it. Instead of just like I don't know, just say how much you appreciate his friendship. Like, oh yeah, this is how much I love you, man. I'm making a gun for you. Maybe just tell me you love me, innit? Maybe just tell me you appreciate my friendship, especially in this tough time. Oh yeah, I'm making you a gun. That's how much I like you. So okay.
Yeah, I was telling you, like, I was a little heartbroken leaving LA. You know, I don't know if you felt that when you first moved out here. I was a little heartbroken. Just
we know
the familiarity, the routine, the baseball.
What's that? What's that word?
First moved out here, I was a little heartbroken. Just the familiarity, the routine,
What's that word?
When you first moved out here, I was a little heartbroken. Just the familiarity, the
familiarity. You mean the familiarity? The familiarity. Need I remind you, dear viewers, Brendan Schaub has 2 degrees.
The routine, the baseball dads, and then as I was telling you off air, last week T got invited to practice with one of the top teams out here, and it was the first time I was like, "Oh, I'm gonna be okay, man. Yeah. It's gonna work out."
Placing all your self-worth in your kids' sporting achievement and accomplishments is just so bizarre to me. Now you think the Texas move is going to be the right move because T got recommended. So hold on. I just thought about this now. Did I get this wrong? Did we all get this wrong? We all assume Brendan moved to Austin, Texas to get closer to Rogan. I'm of the theory, my theory is that he left LA because he couldn't afford to live in LA. The fires happened the LA fires happened at the greatest time possible because it kind of forced him to move, gave an excuse to move, maybe a lot of people were buying, so kind of, apropos to kind of move and put your house on sale. But he generally couldn't afford to live there, especially not, I don't think he's the type of person who would lower his, who would kind of reduce his way of life to kind of fit his budget. He's always going to be buying cars and looking all glitzy and shit. He's never going to pull that down. So maybe we all got that wrong, and the real reason why he moved to Austin was because he wanted to improve Tiger Schaub's, the 9-year-old's potential to become pro MLB player. Maybe he thought there's less competition in Austin, Texas. Is that possible? Maybe he actually decided to move his entire family to Austin in the hopes that T could shine there more and get signed up by a team. It's kind of insane, to be fair. Like, it's one thing if your kid gets signed to a team, you move your family, cool. But moving somewhere hoping your kid gets signed and then wrapping up your whole sense of happiness and accomplishment in your kid's sporting journey is pretty intense and insane. I can't imagine T's having a lot of fun.
Yeah, change is hard. And, it's when you have a routine and you have, I think humans so desperately need community. And then you're just pulling yourself, you're ripping yourself out of familiarity. You're from that community and from that tribe. And it's hard to who am I now? What is my identity?
Yeah, and starting over and just like, all right, what do I do? And you're trying to figure it out, and eventually you get there. But that's why I think you transition so.
the way he's talking about this move, it's like he's talking about as if like he was forced to move there. He moved there because he wanted to move there. But it also feels like he didn't really know what he was going to expect. There's no planning, no recon, no nothing. Pretty intense, pretty wild anyway. I know for me, it's stressful moving places. I can't imagine how stressful it is to move somewhere new out of the blue with a fucking family and 3 kids. Like, it sounds like an insane thing to do. And then not know what you're walking into. Not, everything is a surprise to him. The weather is a surprise. The people being nice to him is a surprise. Like, the adjustment period is a surprise. Like, everything is a surprise. It's as if he did zero research. And research doesn't need to be like extensive Googling. It could just be like typing in on YouTube. I don't know, somebody moved to Austin recently, stumbling on a TikTok or someone. I don't know, whatever. It seems like he did zero research, zero. And he just walked into it blind with his whole family as well. So it's one thing doing it by yourself, but with your whole family, that is insane, bro.
So good out of the UFC because you have community. Like, you're one of the guys that you have so much going on, but you have these close communities.
Yeah.
So when you left the UFC, I was like, yeah, that's not all that Tim Kennedy is. I'm good, man. I have this other stuff.
Yeah, I mean,
a lot of guys, they're tied to that community, so when they leave, they're kind of in no man's land.
Yeah, but
talking about community, doesn't Tim Kennedy kind of suffer from it now, though? Isn't he suffering the consequences of that stolen valor shit? He's now probably been excommunicated from that whole army people. I'm assuming the CrossFit people probably don't care. I'm assuming CrossFit people don't really give a shit. But the whole community of people that he had when he was serving and shit, or Marines or whatnot, they probably don't fuck with him anymore. So that must be a big dent. That's gotta hurt. Maybe some Hollywood friends too. So this is probably a bit of a sore subject for old Tim Kennedy.
I think you have that. You've had multiple careers.
Yeah.
You had multiple transitions occupationally, but it's a different thing when it's the whole family.
Big time.
It's because we as men, of course, are going to bear the burden of responsibility of, okay, I have to provide these things for them. And I love that like realization for you, or like, oh, he's going to be just fine.
Yeah.
Like,
they're flourishing.
Yeah.
The boys are.
No. Tim Kennedy's cleaning up what Brendan's saying. Brendan didn't say he's going to be fine. Brendan said, I'm going to be fine. Brendan found out that his son got picked up or maybe invited to a trial for some team. Maybe a good team, who knows? Bad team, who gives a fuck? And Brendan said when he heard that news, it made him feel like everything's going to be okay. Not his son's going to be okay. He's going to be okay. Two completely different things.
They're flourishing, man. And
it's going to take a little time for the wife,
Yeah, she's doing well too because her mom's here. But I think I was more concerned about the kids. Like, me and my wife will be fine. I'll figure out. I've made big changes before.
God damn. Force and feelings got to slow Joe. He really doesn't give a fuck about how she feels, does she? She's here with her mum. I don't give a fuck. She's probably not going to be good when her mum goes back, by the way. Her mum's there for emotional support to kind of help her settle down and shit, look after the kids. But watch the difference. I'm curious to see a difference of the Instagram stories with Joanna Zanella Schwab once her mum goes back home. Once her mum goes back to LA, let's see what this fucking Instagram looks like. Because I've got a feeling we're going to see way more bikini pictures once that mummy goes back. We're going to see way more first traps. Just watch. She's going to be bored at home. Bored fucking witless. We're going to see way more throwback Thursdays, way more fucking bikini shots, way more mirror selfies for sure. But Brendan doesn't give a fuck about how his wife feels about the move, innit?
And it always works out for the better. Whenever I'm scared to do something, it always works out. For the kids, I'm like, man, 9 and 5. I'm like, what are they going to do? They're friends. But dude, like this morning, I dropped them off at this elite baseball camp, and there's all these kids. You don't know anybody. He's like, see, Dad? I was like, damn, look at this little dude go. Look at him go, man. Yeah. I love it.
I love it. He had to mention, I dropped him off at an elite baseball camp. I love it. He couldn't just say, I was talking about this baseball camp. He had to mention elite baseball camp.
It's gonna be better for him in the long run,
For sure.
Yeah. better.
the resources I've never seen. Yeah, we're
Big up Black Americans. Is that true? Other veterans are petitioning to have Kennedy's medals taken away from him. Bloody hell. Big up Mr. Still Your Girl. Divorce Akazon speed run. Yeah, exactly. No, not exactly. That's never happening, by the way. I'm going to stand on that. Joanna's never divorcing this guy. She's got a life made with Brendan. He doesn't require much from her in terms of, I don't know, whatever relationship. They seem to have it seems to work for them. However weird it may seem to us on the outside in. She gets to buy a lot of fancy shit and not work. She ain't going anywhere. She ain't going nowhere.
high level athletes, we've seen a lot of success in a lot of different things. But the amount of available assets, resources, coaching, sincerity, people, the coaching especially, this is my new metric of measurement for everything, everywhere that I go is the kids coaches here in Texas.
Insane.
They're just the greatest people.
I'm
just blown away.
Me too.
Yeah.
Like when I took T, and he's trying to find his fit. He's trying to find the team, and we met with this team, super high level team. I had no idea what we were getting into, and the coach is like,
again, mention the high level thing. Tim Kennedy's not talking about that at all. He's just talking about coaching in general. But Brendan always has to state the level, right? He always has to mention the level, high level, elite. Tim Kennedy just says no. The coaching is really good. I'm assuming he's talking about them being personable, maybe just being more friendly, maybe being patient, maybe treating the kids like their own kids and shit, making it fun, taking away the pressure, blah, 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 blah. Brendan's just obsessed with it being elite, high level, elite. It's like, bruh, just enjoy that your kid's having fun and touching grass, That should be the main thing, right? This kid's outside touching grass and not indoors playing video games or streaming like I am on their phone the whole time. That should be the win in itself. Making friends, developing life skills. Nah, for Brendan, it's elite coaching. That's the main thing. Elite coaching.
former University of Texas baseball coach, the assistant coach, played 10 years in the MLB. And I'm just like, this is for the 9U?
Yeah.
And he's like, yeah. And it's like that at every level here. Yeah. And T's super nervous. He's 9. It's a new team, new kids, and they're really good. So he's super nervous. They just took him to the side. They're like encouraging him the whole time. And then, T sometimes, just like any 9-year-old, when he strikes out or makes an error, he'll get a
Powerful
have an
bunch.
attitude a little bit.
Yeah, big up Sodesies.
Such an honor getting to see these two beasts of dad's talk. Both frauds in their own careers, both hated and laughed at by their peers. Baba sure knows how to pick a guest.
Honestly, it's truly astonishing how. But I guess it makes sense, though, isn't it? Right? I guess it makes sense. Like for likes do attract, or similar people attract each other. So it's probably not surprising that Brendan seems to be surrounded by charlatans, liars, cheats, scoundrels. Just whatever. Just some not so pleasant people. People not with the best reputation. It's probably not the best surprise or the greatest surprise, because he himself doesn't have the greatest reputation. Big up Sodesies.
Which I'm always like, dude, it's here. It's here. I don't care how athletic you are. For you to get to the next level, it's all about here. Yeah. Like, there's a ton of athletic kids, but what are you going to do here? So that's all I work with them on. So
I don't know, man. Working like that with your kid, I don't know. He's 9 years old, bro. I don't know about you, but I honestly think there's way more potential of T becoming a quote-unquote professional athlete if he just plays more. If he just gets into more sports. As many different sports as possible. From swimming to judo to fucking volleyball to basketball, whatever. Just does as many sports as possible. And maybe finds his lane. Finds whatever light he kind of, gravitates towards. As he gets older, maybe just hones down on one or two or maybe one thing. I don't think all these mindset things are really going to think. I think along the way, he'll find his way with coaches, with other teammates and stuff, and figure out what he wants to do. But I don't think his dad giving him these pep talks is going to do much. I'm not going to lie. I really don't. But I could be mistaken. Maybe he's going to remember these mindset conversations. Maybe he will. I don't think so.
I think it's an attitude that's triggering for me. But the coaches, man, where we came from, they really know how to deal with it. Yeah. They're like, he'll figure it out. No, they the thing is, like, they're super sweet till they're not.
Yeah.
Texas, he's like, what are you doing? What is that?
Big up Shades Car. Toe hold PSA. Before I left the house, I said, where are you? Putting flip-flops on. I'm at my friend's house and their puppy just peed all over my... Oh, yeah, peed all over my feet. Fucking hell. Thoughts and prayers go out to Shades Car's feet. Covered in dog piss. Thoughts and feelings go out to Shades Car.
Yeah.
And T's like, what? I can't do this? They're like, nobody. Look at the other kids.
And it's another thing that you're going to experience lickety split is you as the parent. It is not our job to coach. It is our job to support.
Facts.
And they are going to.
So essentially, he said the opposite of what Brendan said, and Brendan said facts. He just said, well, that mindset stuff ain't going to really work. Just be a dad. Be there to pick them up when they're down. Be there to fucking cheer them on. But coaching them isn't there like a video? I'm pretty sure somebody posted on Reddit a video of LeBron James saying that he doesn't coach his sons at all. He doesn't get involved in their coaching whatsoever. He lets the coaches do that. Yes, I'm probably sure he talks them some bits at home, but he doesn't do any coaching with his kids whatsoever. He lets his coaches of the team do that. So that's LeBron James. But Brendan is all up in his kids' business. He's the coach on the baseball team. He's the fucking one-on-one coach to his son. He goes to, like, he's all up in the fucking business of coaching his kid. Whereas one of the greatest athletes ever, and one of the best basketball players maybe ever, in LeBron James, has a more hands-off approach and lets the coaches do what coaches are meant to be doing. And then just acts as the parent. Who would have guessed?
If you don't figure it out in like super fast, those coaches will be like, hey, so you have one job on the sideline.
Correct.
You are to support your child. 90% of kids quit their sports in the car with their parents leaving practice.
100%.
You have one job.
I think he's telling Brendan off here. Does Brendan realize it? I feel like Tim Kennedy's setting Brendan straight here, but I don't think he realizes it. I really don't think he realizes. I think Tim Kennedy is setting Brendan straight, telling him, hey, man, no. You're meant to be supporting your kid as the parent. You're not meant to be coaching them. This is not your job. I wonder if Brendan's getting it, or if this is the face of somebody that's realizing that he's getting the talking down to.
And
Support
I had
kid.
one parent say this. It was actually a mom where her husband was so overwhelming on the kid.
It's actually her mom. What? Because it's actually the mom. What? Because women aren't what? Women can't coach their kids? Women's opinion when it comes to their children's sports or whatever is not valid? Is not crucial? What do you mean? Because it's the mom. He surprises the mom.
And the kid's such a good player. This is in LA.
The funny thing is, doesn't Slojo come from like a baseball family? Wasn't Slojo's that brother a baseball player, like a decent level? It wouldn't surprise me if Slojo actually knows more about baseball than Brendan. Weirdly enough, especially because she dated a famous baseball player, right? She probably knows more about the sport than Brendan does.
LA. And the mom, because the kid loved video games, and she goes, so you know how your son plays video games all the time? Dad's like, right. He's like, if you want him to quit playing video games so much, just treat him the same way you do in baseball. So when he's playing, go, no, not X. Oh, no, don't go left, go right. Just critique every move he makes in those video games. He'll stop in about 3 to 4 days.
Because it's purgatory.
It's the exact same thing in baseball.
Yeah,
like
you've taken the joy out of it.
It's no longer a game.
Yeah.
It's no longer.
He's a fascinating individual, isn't he? He's saying all the things that he does, but then he's acting like other parents do it, and he's chastising like imaginary, like he's moral grandstanding and chastising people in his head who sound kind of like him. Isn't that what you do? It's such a weird thing. He said it himself on a pod. He's spoken about how he's coaches his kid, the things he said to him. Oh, like, don't let some fat kid strike you out. All these things, right? We've heard from his own mouth how he goes about coaching T. I don't know.
Longer fun. So criticize his PlayStation abilities. He'll stop playing if you want him to stop.
And
Same thing
inversely,
with baseball.
Just let him have his own agency and his own space for him to flourish on the field.
Yeah.
And then just watch that kid blossom.
Yeah, man. Nothing better.
Dude, it's gonna be so fun. And I'm so pumped you're here.
Oh, dude, brother, I'm so pumped. And it could be an off the air conversation, but with your son, with his lacrosse, like he's such an outlier.
It could be an off the air conversation, but then proceeds to continue talking about it. But I guess it's just a way to kind of feign familiarity and make it seem like, oh, the listeners are gonna be, this is a part of the conversation that you really don't usually hear. Like, okay, rolling me eyes.
And just his mentality, like when it's hot and how he's like, let's go, like let's see these other kids melt. Do you think he got that from you? Because obviously mentally you're such a maniac, right? In a good way. Like you're so mentally strong and you look at all the shit you're doing. Did you think you passed that down to your son, or do you think he was born with that?
No, definitely. I don't think grit. I love this. I love my kids so much.
Nothing better to talk about.
Yeah,
if you're not a parent, this show's probably not for you.
Yeah.
They're like, what? I'm single in my freaking bedroom.
But the like the heart and the head, those
dad shit, like bath, man. Bath. This is similar to wife guys. I'm not gonna lie. There's a small population of wife guys who are legitimately wife guys and make most of us scumbag dudes look like pieces of shit. They embarrass us. They show us up because they're proper wife guys, devoting husbands, devoting boyfriends, right? Always fucking, looking out for their fucking person. But then there's those kind of wife guys who say and act like they're wife guys, but really they do it because they're trying to cover up how much of a dog they are really behind the scenes, really away from the cameras, really away from prying eyes. And I think the same goes for dads. Actual dads who are really involved in their kids' lives, who take joy in raising their kids, who really love being a family man, they don't talk about being dads as much as these guys do. The guys who really go, oh, I'm a dad, being a dad's the best thing, dad. You're a piece of shit. You're probably a piece of shit dad. You're probably overcompensating. I swear, there's something about people that do this sort of stuff that it's just like, smells a bit fishy, man. Why are you always talking about this dad shit? Like, I don't know, man. I don't know. It seems a bit fishy. It seems like you're trying to overcompensate for something. It seems like you're trying to run cover for actually how you really behave and treat your kids. But hey, what do I know?
How those things connect that build grit. And the only way that toughness comes is by doing tough and difficult things.
Yes.
And we're not poor. We could provide all of the comfort and laissez-faire lifestyle that would then breed the weakest, most useless flesh of offspring ever. So I have to be disciplined in me holding myself accountable to make sure that I create opportunity for him to go and do hard things. Let him struggle.
And when you say hard things, like what are you doing? Because he's how old?
He's 10.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
it's a fine line too.
It is a
It's
fine
like
line.
Child abuse and just giving him some grit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Our toughness and grit came from what would absolutely be abuse in 2025.
Correct.
There's no doubt that, and I love my parents.
Yeah, me
I had a
too.
perfect father for what happened in the 70s and the 80s when I grew up. That was a different world.
Yes.
It's a different era. So creating difficult opportunities, like when I took him hunting in Southwest Texas, we're on foot in freezing cold temperatures at night, 100-degree temperatures in the day. Everything that we're eating and drinking is on our back.
He's uncomfortable.
Everything.
Having dads like this must be so exhausting, isn't it? But it also must be a good learning experience, because if you can handle having dads like this, you can probably handle anything outside in the outside world, for lack of a better term. You could probably handle much if you're able to appease, finagle, make good with the dads like these guys are, and how they act and how they speak. you'll probably be able to handle a lot of
Powerful bunch.
shit. Big up Young Old Vibes. Big up Young Old Vibes.
If you are so scared of Reddit, why dox your own kids? Slow Joe literally posted the baby's doctor. Weird AF, they keep telling details about the kids.
That's the thing, exactly. Like, I don't know, man. It's just exactly. That's a good. It's just. Do we need this much conversation about their kids, really? Can it just be like an overall conversation about raising kids in general? Does it have to be specifically about your kids? Like, it's almost as if they're like, oh, because they're my kids, they almost by default have to be exposed to this world because I'm exposed to this world. It's just a weird way to do it. Which why have to give Rogan a lot of credit? Rogan completely keeps his kids out of the limelight. Doesn't really talk about them that much. I don't think he mentions their names. I swear to God, he doesn't mention even their names. We don't know how many he even has. He probably might have more than he has, less than we don't know, nothing. And I think that's for the best. If they decide to come out later on and become, you know, social media friendly and shit, whatever, that's one thing. But this constant talking, like, it's kind of good that Brendan isn't more famous because if
Powerful
he was,
bunch.
big up Star Disease.
Imagine you finally get Cindy from math class number and your dad pulls you on a backpacking trip with no signal for a week.
Exactly. But you actually love your dad too. You know he's going through a hard time, so you kind of want to be there for him. So you go along anyway, and then your dad mistakes you going along anyway because you just want to hang out with him as enthusiasm that you might have for hunting. That may happen quite a lot as well. Like, you just want to go because you want to hang out with your dad. You kind of don't want to leave him on his own. You know, you're kind of bummed out that he's not with your mum anymore, so you kind of want to be there for him. But then he mistakes your going there as, oh, you also love this shit. You also want to be a Marine. It's like, nah, I shouldn't spend time with my dad. Pick up us on disease. Pick up Young World Vibes.
Every moment was uncomfortable, and he's flourishing. He was there for it.
That's great.
You know, tomorrow morning, what's he going to do with me?
Yeah, you guys are going to box.
We're going to go box.
Yeah.
You know, am I going to hit him? Absolutely not.
No.
You know, but am I going to be
push
surrounded
him.
with Shane Thompson, Tyson Mendez, Sean Apperson, David Freese, a whole bunch of professional athletes, black belts, professional fighters. The Tackett brothers are going to be there. Satoshi Ishii is going to be there.
I love him.
Yo, he's
I
just
stay with him all.
I love him, yeah, right. He don't even. When's the last time we spoke to him? We got Josie. I don't know their names or ages, just that he has two of them and they're girls, which I say, when you can't make a boy, God is trying to teach you something. Yeah. Could you imagine how unbearable Rogan would be if he had like all boys, and they happened to be, I don't know, each one of them was like a professional athlete, or one is like a politician or a governor, or one ran a bank and the other one played in the... Could you imagine how unbearable Rogan would be if that was the case? Or one became like a black belt and won all the fucking competitions, no gi shit. That's right. Probably that's the way to humble him. God humbled Rogan by making him super short, 5'2", whatever he is, and also humbled him by making him have all girls. Plus, if I'm not mistaken, doesn't his wife have he has like a stepdaughter too, who's so he has like he's surrounded by women at his house, so absolutely surrounded by women. So that's the biggest humbler, because I'm sure Rogan has some dicey opinions when it comes to the opposite sex, especially in the workplace and society and whatever. But he can't really have them because, he's raising young women himself. So he kind of has to put some of those feelings to one side.
All the time, man.
Yeah, he's the best.
The best.
I
love that guy.
I
He's
just
out
had
there?
I just had tacos with him 19 minutes ago and got coffee with him.
Really?
Yeah.
He's the best. Dude, I trained with him for years.
He's a monster.
Yeah, monster.
He's a little busted up right now, but
Good guy.
like that's who. I was like, hey, what is your son doing tomorrow? Come and box with us. That's who's just gonna be surrounding him. I don't have to say anything to him, but I'm gonna have Satoshi Ishii, like whispering to a 10-year-old, like, you should hit that harder.
Yeah.
In Satoshi Ishii voice.
Yeah, He's a gold medalist in the Olympics. Yeah, you should probably listen to him.
Yeah. Everything he does at the highest level. And then Shane, like just the sweetest. I would trust Shane Steiner with everything and anything in my life.
Yeah.
To include my son.
Yeah.
And everything that the Steiners touch, because of hard work and grit, turns to gold.
Yeah.
A lot of people say a lot of negative things about that family. Like, they get it so good. They've had it so easy. Dude, if you could only see how hard those people work, how they treated you when you showed up to their steakhouse.
Insane.
that's just who they are.
Yeah.
So then I'm going to have Shane sitting there with Rolo, your son, Tyler's son, and be like, that's the hardest jab you got in there.
Yeah.
Yo, big up Ason. Peace, AZ. You don't have to restart, man. Call it day 10. No. We don't cheat on here. We don't finagle. We don't cheat on here, brother. We're honest people around here. We start day one. You get me? We start day one. No matter how long it may take, we're going to complete the 31 days. You feel me? So day one it is. Big up Ason.
So it just creates hardship in a pretty controlled and intentional way.
Yeah, because I think my biggest fear is, baseball, because it's not physical. I'm like, man, he needs some adversity.
Yeah.
Granted, striking out or walking guys or having a bad game, like that's some adversity mentally. Yeah. I'm saying physical adversity is what he needs.
Yeah. We'll
There is a lot of am I the only person that doesn't like this conversation around being a rich kid and they need adversity, especially coming from Brendan? Brendan's a rich kid and has had very little. If anything, he's taken advantage of every advantage. He's taken it that could ascend or that could progress his career. He's not taken the long route in anything. And Showtime came calling for a special, he took it. Rogan thing.
Powerful bunch.
The Kids and the Kid podcast sponsored by Kibitek.
The kids and the kid, exactly. The Liar and the Fighter, or The Liar and the Liar, sponsored by Kibitek, exactly. Pick up with disease. I just find it really disingenuous that Brendan wants his kid to suffer when he didn't really have to suffer that much. Relatively, he never purposely took the long route. He never got shit out of the mud, really, He kind of got grandfathered in with Rogan, got the Showtime deal that kind of, made things bigger than what they maybe should have been. And now he wants his kid to suffer. Why should your kid suffer if he didn't suffer? To that extent anyway, at least.
Yeah, you're the guy for the job. Don't waterboard him, but
No, yeah, but we manufacture, and I hate that but I'm okay with it. We're going to curate and editorialize opportunities that are safe, where they can, find that strength and that agency and that grit. But it's in a safe environment and they're surrounded by, and I don't know how it is for you. My kids don't listen to me.
No, I'm not, which is wild. And
that's not true, bro. That's not true. Brendan doesn't agree with this, you see? Whenever Brendan meets a semi-normal person who isn't grandiose or doesn't talk in absolutes and isn't the best person in their brain at all times, it kind of fries him. But he's also very good at kind of mirroring people. I guess that's part of being a narcissist, right? Whenever somebody presents themselves in one way, Brendan will mirror whatever they do. So, in my opinion, I think Brendan likes the fact that he kind of rules his kids with an iron fist. He's kind of tells them what to do and they do it. But he's now going to try and make it seem like he's more like Tim Kennedy. And he just doesn't, they don't listen to him and they're their own free spirits. He just kind of has to pick up the pieces. Nah, that's not actually how he parents. We see what he says about his kids. He likes to kind of, run the roost, but especially when it comes to sports or whatever, he likes to say, he says what they should be doing and they do that. So let's hear how he tries to mirror Tim Kennedy here.
So I have to check myself sometimes.
On the coaching side.
On the coaching side, no. I'm the idiot. But to listen to a guy who played 1 year of freaking Little League. Yeah. I'm like, oh, what? And what do I know? I went professional in 2 different sports. What do I know? Listen to the guy who played high school.
He keeps saying you were professional in 2 different sports. No, you didn't. But you didn't, though. You went professional in 1 sport. UFC. MMA. You didn't go professional in any other sport. You can't say you're a professional in football because you never played for an NFL team. You were never on the roster. You might went to a tryout or whatever it's called, but that doesn't count as being a professional football player. I'm sorry. It just doesn't. What? Professional in 2, and again, it shouldn't even matter anyway, because being a professional at 1 sport should be good enough anyway. But that also doesn't give you the reason or the license to be like, oh yeah, you should listen to me when it comes to baseball because I was a pro in the UFC. What? How does that even make sense? Why should anyone listen to you because you... Whatever.
Baseball.
Yeah. What do you know?
What do I know? And even I was the first base coach, and I'm like, all right, you just wait. He's like, he turned back and was like, got it. I'm like, oh, wow. All right. But now every other kid listens to hangs on every word I say, but you won't listen.
Yeah. But now you can like hand select all these world-class people to be around him.
Yeah. Yeah. So your kids don't even listen to you.
No. I have two grown, beautiful daughters, and like we have conversations like we're friends, but zero chance as like, maybe try this, and they would just not do it because I said so.
Yeah, it's like, hey, some people would pay me for advice, and you have it for free 24/7.
Oh, I mean, how old were you? I get it. It's genetic from just before puberty until maybe 25, 30. Your parents cannot pour into you because you have to mentally separate from them.
Yeah.
And so I understand that it's hardwired in our DNA for us to be like, and our kids just got there.
Yeah. Especially when it comes to sports.
Yeah.
Or like lifting. I'm like, really? Really? I'll show
Almost
them
a
videos.
20-year professional athlete.
Yeah, man.
Yeah,
They
but
don't care.
I don't know nothing.
It's crazy, dude.
It's fine though.
So
It's fine. It's fine.
It's great. It's fine.
Everything's fine.
It'll work out. Let's take a little break from chatting with.
Fascinating. Truly, truly fascinating. Again, hopefully, you know what, in a weird way, because I'm a fucking softie, hope it works out. Hope it does work out, and all of this investment, all this pouring into his kid works out, and he becomes somewhat pro in something, whatever. But the likelihood of that happening is very slim. But if it does happen, it's a good thing. But if it doesn't, it's going to be interesting to see what happens on the other side. If he ends up kind of gravitating more to streaming, playing video games, I don't know, liking girls and shit, and sports becomes a bit of a, afterthought. And he starts to get more annoyed with his dad, maybe when he, approaches those kind of like, early teens. It's going to be interesting to see how Brendan handles it, because it looks like he puts a lot of his self-worth in his kid. Like he's kind of living vicariously through quote unquote T. And if it doesn't work out, he's gonna have a bit of a psychic break. I feel like it's gonna really fuck him up if it doesn't work out, or the kid rejects him in some way. Hope it doesn't happen, but Jesus, man, he's not really making it easy on himself, is he? He's not making it easy on himself. Not gonna lie. Let's fast forward a little bit. Big up everybody tuning in. If you're tuning in right now, you hear the sound of my voice and you like what you see what you like. Make sure you smash that like button down below if you would. That would be greatly appreciated. Subscribe to the channel. And also chill, hang out, comment in the chat and stuff, innit?
Simply Safe. Let's get back to the program. So you just came back from DC.
Army's birthday.
Army's birthday. That's a big deal, right? I didn't realize how big of a deal.
250 years.
That's wild.
Yeah.
And you go out there. I'm always so fascinated by your life because to me it's such a mystery. So like when you get involved with this stuff, does someone reach out from the White House? Like, how's that work? From the military? And like, we need Tim Kennedy out there.
Yeah. So, I mean, this is a great example. And a lot of people kind of stick their nose trying to understand how all of these things work. And really, to just oversimplify it, the government is just like any organization. They're communicating in silos. They're cross departments, cross agencies, failing to coordinate, so like those problems exist. And then there are people that help try to get everybody in the same room to communicate up, down, and out. So this is a perfect example. The White House has Flag Day, President Trump's birthday, and President Trump wanted a military parade. Break. It's the Army's 250th birthday. They also want to have a parade and celebrate this thing. So let's do those things together.
Makes sense.
Yeah.
It's kind of crazy that they got him involved, considering all the allegations about stolen valor, isn't it? It's kind of insane. All that bad press he got, reputation basically in tatters, but somehow he's involved in that army parade thing. Bit wild, isn't it? I know he's high profile. I know he's well known and shit, but you'd think those allegations would be enough to give people pause. Or, to be like, maybe we should give him a break for now. Maybe go to somebody else. Maybe there was no one else to go to. But I find it interesting, fascinating that he was involved, considering all the noise around him. Wild.
Makes sense. But you'd think that the White House and the Department of Defense, specifically the Army, would like be communicating really effectively.
Yeah. No. Even at that level. Not even at that level.
No. Like the Pentagon talking to the White House, besides like, should we drop this bomb on top of these radicals out in the desert? Outside of that, no.
Outside of that, no. But they got bigger fish to fry.
Yeah.
So it's like a parade party. Like, we're busy over here, man.
So
Someone
like
else figure
Fox
it out.
News, Newsmax, NBC, everybody wants to be there, but who's going to do the coordination? Then who's going to coordinate with DC city to allow and permits and processing? Who's going to make the run a show? Who's going to be like getting the passes? Secret Service is going to have a say of this. Is Secret Service going to be giving 4-star generals the same access as White House personnel?
Yeah.
But so like it's just a cluster.
And then also safety.
Right.
A great place to do some damage.
And everybody's going to want to, like the No Kings protest.
Don't get me started.
Yeah. It's a mess. So on the military side, the military is like, hey, you're, the most famous military person on the internet.
Yeah.
We would love you to support the Army birthday. You're also in the Army. We want you to be in uniform supporting this event. Simultaneously, the White House is like, hey, you work with all of the media, Fox News and Newsmax. Can you help us run some of these things?
You're going to be out there.
Yeah. Yeah.
Double
I just
dipping.
have all the time to do all of these things. Just those two. Like I could go on and list 50 different asks of, can you help with this?
Which is a good problem to have.
It's a great problem.
Yeah.
And then it meets like the requirement of, am I still contributing in a meaningful way? Absolutely.
Yeah. And then are you flying out there on your own dime?
Interesting, isn't it? I know the easy answer could be, oh yeah, Trump is a liar, charlatan. Of course, he's going to try and talk about charlatans. I know, but I don't know. It's like, surely of all, there's not other high-profile Army, Marine type of guys that they could have spoken to, called upon. Really, Tim Kennedy, really? I guess stolen valor doesn't matter anymore.
Powerful bunch.
Pick up Younger Vibes.
Never thought I would say this, but I miss Brian.
Yeah, exactly. Big up Younger Vibes, exactly. Me too.
So if I'm in uniform and I'm on orders, the Army will pay me in uniform to go and do this thing. And if I'm going to be going for the Army, nobody else can be paying for anything, because then there'd be an integrity issue there, right? Like if I'm getting paid to go speak for Fox News, or I'm going to go do a public speaking engagement, and the client is paying me to attend, but then I'm also on military, right? Super unethical.
So do you have a manager or agent who handles that, or you're just dealing with this all yourself?
All the above. And then I'm super transparent with all the bosses and all the entities and all the organizations to make sure that like I'm crossing every T and dotting every I, where if I'm in a specific capacity, there's no, commingling of funds.
Yeah, there's none of that.
No. And I'm like black and white on these things. Like
You have to be.
Yeah.
And then I assume when you're out there, like, people are pretty high strung, because you also got Israel, Iran
that was
shit going on.
yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I mean that was kicking off on Thursday.
Thursday, bud.
And Friday is
They're
like
having this parade.
Is it Iran or is it Iran? Isn't it Iran, not Iran? Or maybe it is Iran.
bad.
How bad?
It's
like
bad.
because it could drag us into it, right? You're like the perfect guy to talk to about this.
Yeah, I mean,
and just to be clear, and people are like, yeah, no shit. Like I need Israel, Iran issues for dummies. You know, like I know they want to get rid of their nuclear bomb like capabilities, right?
Yep.
And that's kind of the whole goal.
That was the goal of these.
Even that explanation was excruciating. Just that alone. Stay in your lane, B. Stay in your lane.
Strikes. 90 seconds. The Houthis, Hezbollah, and Hamas are all proxy wings of the Iranian military.
Okay.
So the three terrorist organizations that have been attacking Israel for the past 10 years, all of those are being funded by Iran.
That's a problem.
Yeah. So like the October terrorist attack, horrific, right? Funded by Iran. They paid about $200 million over the course of 4 years in preparation for this attack. So they were providing training and assets, resources for the October terrorist attack, funded by Iran. Jesus. Really bad, right? The goal was to make it so bad that Israel would respond disproportionate to what happened, disproportionate to like rape and torture and murder of like women and kids. So it would, in what they wanted was to be dragged into a larger conflict in hopes of Hezbollah and the Houthis to join in. So then it's regional destabilization. Jesus. That was the goal. The less stable an area is, the more chaos, the more anarchy, the less security, the better it is for them and the worse it is for America. Yep. We as free trade, free market capitalists, if we have stability and security in a region, we get trade. Yep. And that's what we want. We want a stable world so we can
do our thing.
Make money.
Make money.
Yeah.
Oh, hey, man. Hey, man. No more war, man. Peace and love, man. Is that possible, man? Can we all just stop fighting and get along?
They don't want that. They want the opposite of that, and they hate us and everything that we stand for. So Hamas, Hezbollah, and the Houthis all being funded by Iran. Iran, all the while, is developing a nuclear program. And if you just really simplify this to like baking a cake, okay, the cake is the nuclear program. You have to have the ingredients, the flour and the sugar and the butter, the oil. You have to have the cook that has the know to how to mix all the things. You have to have the equipment to mix it. You have to have the pan, you have to have the oven, and then you have to have the facility to do the
stew. It's the big stew. Remember Brenda with a stew? That's what it was like. That's that stew analogy.
The baking. Mm-hmm. So like those are the four cornerstones of a program to make a cake.
That's what Israel's trying to take out, correct?
Yeah. So Israel just effectively destroyed 3 of those 4 things. The information is still out there.
Of course.
Dark web, like how to enrich uranium, and that's all there. But if I destroy the facilities, the equipment, and the people, and the ingredients, and they're flying bombs through people's windows, and because if Iran has a nuclear program, weapon or energy, it will be, and they have said over and over and over again, that they will use it against Israel. This is not conjecture. They have said,
they made those threats.
Not threat, like we will destroy Israel.
So Israel, but it's like destroying that, it's just going to delay it. Now it might delay it 20 years, but it's just delaying.
Yeah. I mean, the nuclear bomb's been around since 1945.
Right.
And 5 countries haven't. So delaying and impeding people's ability to be able to have that responsibility to pretty stable nations. And especially one that has been using proxy radicals to try to wipe you off the face of the planet.
It's a problem.
It's a problem.
But the issue would be for Americans is dragging us into World War III, right?
Yeah. I mean, that's what they want.
That's what they want.
Yeah.
And that would happen if they attacked Israel.
If they attacked Americans, and they tried. Last night over Erbil, we shot down Iranian drones that were looking to target American troops.
And that's at the American embassy there?
It was at a military base.
Yeah.
Love him, hate him. President Trump does not want to be in a prolonged war. He doesn't want a war.
He kind of does, though, doesn't he? He was very anti-war when he was running. I'm assuming quite a few people that voted for him probably voted for him off that basis because Biden liked a little bit of war, didn't he? Right? Old Joey B. And I think some people were under the assumption or were under the impression that Trump was going to be anti-war because he's a capitalist, he's a businessman. War's not good for business, but little did we know that war is actually pretty good for business. And Trump is egging shit on, isn't he? Egging shit on, standing lockstead with Israel, basically saying if Israel goes to war, we'll go to war, which is kind of wild, isn't it? considering all the problems, all the issues you guys over there in America have, all of the things that you're missing out on. I don't think that for people who are without housing, who may be struggling to find a job, who may be struggling to get their kids into a decent school, who are struggling to pay the bills, who are struggling to just exist, really give a fuck about what's going on between Israel and fucking Iran. You know, it's really none of their business. They kind of want their way of life, their their quality of life, dare I say, to improve. Is that too much to ask? Is that too much to ask, really?
But there is a military industrial complex that would love us to be dragged in. Yeah.
A lot of money in it.
Having just come out of 20 years of war, I've been in the military for 20 years. I'm pretty good on not going back to war.
Knowing what you know about war and the stuff you've done, would you let your kiddos sign up for it? I mean, you're gonna have no control, but I'm just saying, if someone was like, "Hey, it's up to you, man," would you encourage them to do it?
No, I don't want my kids to fight or ever see war.
Right.
No. Maybe a hard pass on that one.
Hard pass, right? I mean, but at the same time, the reason I ask you, because it's obviously not the war part, but the elite levels you've got to, the friends you've made, the networking, what you do now. Powerful bunch.
Yo, big up Aziz.
Baba with the tough questions. You want your kids to fight in a war? Only someone who's done 10K hours of podcasting could think of that. That's a 250 level question. My pedestrian brain couldn't fathom.
It's probably it's the one question that we never saw coming, isn't it? We never saw coming that question. That's a question that no one could have ever guessed, no one could have ever came up with. You could have only thought of that sort of question, as the Sarziza said, if you're one of the 250. Assassins, Navy SEALs, Marine, Green Beret level comedians. Only those could have come up with that level of questioning, right? And isn't that meant to be? Isn't he meant to be your friend as well? Sure, if that guy's meant to be your friend, you've had those type of conversations already, ad nauseum, in private. Do you really want to be asking him that question again? That cliche, hacky question? Oh. The question kind of answers itself, doesn't it? When you're relating to Brendan, the question kind of answers itself.
But you wouldn't want your kids to fight it's tough, right?
Yeah. I've never been more proud of our military. Watching the old guard, the 82nd, an entire company of special forces, Ranger Regiment, M1 Abrams tanks, Strykers, Bradleys, HIMARS, Paladins, mobile artillery, just cruising down Constitution in front of the Washington Monument as the Golden Knights, American Special Operations free fall, the best free fall fallers in the world, jump out of the air, fly and land on the White House lawn and deliver a folded flag to the President of the United States after 250 soldiers raise their hand to the oath of enlistment to protect the Constitution against foreign investment. That all happened on Saturday, dude.
Love it.
I love this country, and the military is so back.
Yeah, it's back.
It's back. It's back. And the whole world is looking at us like,
oh shit.
The military's back. When has it never not been there? Didn't you say you've had 20 years of war? When has the military never been a big part of the United States or any country around the world? What are you talking about, bro? What are you talking about, bro? I didn't hear anybody say defund the military. Did you hear that? I know there's a lot of defund the police nonsense going around, but nobody said defund the military, so I don't even know what he's talking about. It's almost like he's arguing with himself. Like, who said the military was over? Like, what? The military's back is hilarious. And then complaining or having hesitations or reservations about going to war. Praising the fact that the military is back, but then being very, very insistent that your kid doesn't sign up to the military and not wanting them to see any kind of war or any kind of action that way is hilarious to me. The hypocrisy writes itself.
this is a different thing.
Come get it.
Yeah. It's such a deterrent for them to, everybody's like, oh, it cost $45 million to do this parade. it just saved us from maybe going into a $5 billion or $50 billion war.
Correct.
Because everybody's looking at, wait, they got all that stuff? Yeah, man. We had more firepower on Constitution Avenue than 95% of the world combined.
Yeah, it's also good marketing.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like,
Yeah.
come get some. Oh, y'all must have forgot. Yeah, this is what it is.
Yeah.
Those other days, those are over.
Yeah.
Y'all must have forgot. Yeah, I love it.
Oh, this podcast is fucking hilarious, man. Like, this is what the big move to Austin was about. This is what the big move to Austin was for. War propaganda. Shilling for the man. Bootlicking shit. This is what the big move was for. To turn Tfatk into the de facto home for bootlicking. Mouthpiece for the army. Mouthpiece for the military. What next? It wouldn't surprise me if we get some gun enthusiast person on, isn't it, right? Wouldn't surprise me if we get some open carry type person on here, right? I'm assuming that's what's next on the card. Some open carry person is going to be on here next. Talking about the importance of like kids under 12 having AR-15s, you know? That's what we're going to get next. We're going to get some guest on here who's going to be like, yeah, all children in all schools should be armed. If more kids in schools are armed, then that'll stop the armed shooters, the school shooters. We need every kid to have a Glock in their backpack, just in case some shit goes down. What's the worst that could happen, eh? What's the worst that could happen if we arm every single child? What's the worst that could happen?
I love it.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's the best.
It is. I almost missed Father's Day though. I was kind of pouty yesterday. Delayed flights, trying to come in from DC after all those people flew in there. So it was like the airports were a mess, and got in, barely got to see my kids. Got in, give them kisses.
That has to be tough for you too, because it comes with the territory with the job you do. You're probably gone a lot, right?
Yeah.
That was the thing I struggle with most with stand up and a lot of that stuff, and some of the other agreements I had as I was leaving so much, where my kids started to notice, especially once they started getting involved in sports. Like, hold up, you coach and you're not at the game? Like, no, bud, I got work.
Yeah, that glove cost money. That
surely you've moved past this now. You already quit stand up. It's been what, 2 years since I quit stand up? Something, maybe more. He's now in this full dad mode, car guy shit. Like, surely, like, it's gone now. This weird guilt thing, or this, fake guilt for a conversation piece or for a pat on the back, because he clearly wants a pat on the back. Oh, I sacrificed my comedy career for my kids. No, you didn't. You quit comedy because you couldn't sell tickets, or because you couldn't bother to try to, make it happen without the help of Rogan and everybody else, because they moved to Austin, Texas. But this constant talking about, oh yeah, that's why my kids, I couldn't because of stand-up. It's like, bro, okay, let's just believe him. Let's just take him at face value. Let's give him the benefit of the doubt, and let's believe that he did feel bad that he wasn't around his kids, or he didn't see them grow up because he was too busy touring, addies and baddies, finger blasting fucking bartenders and shit. Cool, let's believe him that to be true. But you're doing it now. You're present now in their lives actively, especially in T's life. You're taking great interest into helping him fucking, get where he's trying to get to in baseball. That's it now, isn't it? Like, why are we talking about what happened? Let's move on.
That bat costs money. That coach costs money. To be on this field costs money.
But I was fortunate enough where I could stay home and still, afford that stuff.
It's a fine balance of and every time that if I'm ever going to make money, it's not going to be in Texas. Like every once in a while, maybe I'll have a speaking opportunity in Dallas or Houston.
But outside that, you're all over.
Yeah. I mean, 90% of my ability to make money is traveling, advising, consulting. That's going to be in DC. That's going to be in New York. That's going to be, overseas.
It's tough, man.
It's hard.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But they're used to it. You figure it out. You have to have a balance because obviously your kids love you. You know.
Yeah, and I tell them like, if I had my wish and I had limitless resources, you'd never see me on another plane.
Yeah.
You know, but for you to have a future and for you to have an opportunity.
Look at that. A reasonable, rational, grown-up way to explain why maybe being on the road, as much as maybe Tim Kennedy is saying he is actually beneficial to his kids because it helps them support them. Because he's supporting them, basically. But notice that Brendan isn't trying to shame Tim Kennedy for not being around his kids. He does that with Callan a lot. He basically gaslights, grandstands Callan on his parenting because he's still trying to make the stand-up thing happen. But notice how Brendan didn't try and belittle or mock or be all condescending with Tim Kennedy, because it sounds like, by all accounts, he's not really around that much. Right? It's by what he's saying. We believe him to be true, which is hard because he lies a lot. But still, notice how he's not taking the piss out of Tim Kennedy. He's kind of being understanding. You know? He's somewhat being compassionate, right? Notice that. But when Brian Callan is like, you know, when he's talking the same topic comes up with Brian Callan, he loves the grandstand. He loves the fucking gaslight. He loves it. And Brian just takes it, of course, because, you know, we know him to be the C-U-C-K.
Like dads have to work.
Dads have to do this.
Yeah. Great line at tacos so to my right was Shane Steiner, to my left was Tripp, across from me is Satoshi Ishii, Tyler from Archery Country. We need to get you a banging bow. Another thing you gotta have here in Texas is a good bow. Bow. Like Joe Rogan, Evan Hafer own the bow shop with Tyler. Archery Country. It's like the best archery bow shop on the planet. And so
I didn't know that. Rogan owns a bow shop. I didn't know that. Fair play. Rogan owns a bow shop. Part owner of a bow shop. Brendan didn't look that enthusiastic though. Brendan didn't look that enthusiastic. He sees his face like, I'm not doing that. Brendan didn't look too enthusiastic about going bowing, right? Or bowing, archery, whatever it's fucking called. He didn't look that enthusiastic about it, did he? I don't think he's gonna do it.
like just to be able to pull a bow anytime that you want in the backyard. It feels so good. But I was bragging about how awesome my wife is when I came home middle of the night after being gone in DC for a week on Father's Day. She's a good woman. It makes working so easy when you got a good woman.
Yeah, to hold down the fort.
Yeah.
Yeah, man.
And then
it's everything.
Want my ability to go and work because like I can do it with, like, I don't want to go and travel. I don't want to go and be away from them, but to come home to that, it makes it easy.
Yeah. Cause you know, everything's gonna be good. Mm-hmm. You know, you're not gonna come home to chaos and that, like she holds it down.
Yeah. A good woman makes working easy.
Yeah. Especially for what you do. She'd have to be super special.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right, pause. Do you want to take the role of the wife or something? Like, what? Conversation's getting a bit weird. Anyway, we're going to leave it there for now. I'm going to follow this up tomorrow. But we're going to switch over to a new podcast cringe video. A new podcast cringe video dropped, I think, with Bert and fucking Tom. We're going to quickly go through that and then I'm going to end it. But we're going to continue this on when I wake up. When I wake up and after my workout, I'll continue, all right? So let's switch over to Podcast Cringe. Where is it? It's a recent episode of Podcast Cringe. Let me see it. Where's that fucking video? There we go. Tom and Bert get humbled in the weirdest way possible, courtesy of Podcast Cringe Bites. So let's react to this. This is a new one. Just dropped. Everybody in the stream chat, if you're still watching, if you're still listening, if you're still here, if you can hear the sound of my voice and you like what you see what you like, please like the stream. Don't forget, before you leave, before you do anything else, before you scratch your ass, before you pet your dog, your cat, you shout at your kid, you scream at your fucking guy or girl, like the stream. Just like the stream. That'd be greatly appreciated. Appreciate you. Let's freaking go.
You be getting those IVs?
I got one yesterday. That's why I'm so bloated.
Yeah, me too. I got one yesterday. I love that shit, man.
Yeah. Stem cells too. I get stem cell injections.
What? Like a stem on Black Ops?
This week I got 3 different kinds. I got stem cell IV. I got direct inject stem cell. And then they put...
What's that hat? Rip City, Santa Monica. Cringe.
stem cells in like this inhaler. So like the vapors go in. Yeah, all three.
Your perception of the world is so different than.
Oof. Whenever you see Bert Tom's face and then it goes to Bert's face, it's just, he's got such an alcoholic face, isn't it? It's always a shock whenever you see him on the screen. Look at the redness. He looks even worse because I guess he cut his beard into a goatee so you can see more of his skin and his face. He legitimately looks like a Savoy, innit? I'm sure some of you ninjas know what a Savoy sausage is, right? Legendary fucking British cuisine. He legitimately is the same color as a freaking Savoy. On God. Big up Savoys. I might actually get one tomorrow. Savoys are fucking tasty as fuck. Bert, that's the color of Bert, mate. He's red like a fucking Savoy. Swear he is. Swear he is.
In my perception of the world.
Right.
Like I look at it, I really am like not just glass half full, but glass overflowing. And your mom was a gangster.
Yeah, 1000%. Like still to this day. Like I remember a lot. I go back to the hood. A lot of dudes be bringing her up, and like I don't want to hear that shit because like in my mind, you was fucking my mama. You know what I'm saying?
When it comes to Bert Kreischer's list of cringe offences, trying to insert himself into hip-hop culture is close to the top of the list, right next to wearing makeup to cover up his purple face and squealing, screeching and snorting into the microphone. It's the equivalent of Andrew Schultz's code switching from Flagrant to Brilliant Idiots.
Wow, Andrew Schultz with the braids. Jesus Christ. I don't want to ever see that again. I don't ever want to see that picture again.
I remember when Bert went on this long-ass rant about how Tupac would have been the best podcaster if he was still alive, and then wondered if they...
Hold on, who do you call him? Tupac?
About how Tupac would have been the best podcaster...
Tupac? Podcast cringe accent.
If he was still alive, went on this long-ass rant about how Tupac would have been the best podcaster if he was still alive, and then wondered if they would have gotten along and been friends. That's the level of hip-hop cringe I'm talking about. His desperation to fit in with every single crowd and be accepted by anyone and everyone he comes across is getting worse the older he gets.
Bert's a quintessential people pleaser, isn't it? Quintessential people pleaser, unapologetically.
And there's nothing more cringe-inducing than an aging celebrity trying to stay relevant by any means necessary. And then there's Tom Segura, the 50-year-old hipster millionaire comedian turned edgelord movie director who treats every podcast like a game of chess, strategically inserting himself at precisely timed intervals to convince everyone that he isn't the massive arsehole we know he's become. All of Tom and Bert's worst character traits came out in full force when they had Theo Von and Stubby's love child, that Mexican OT, on the latest episode of Two Bears, One Cave. I don't think I've ever seen a mismatch this big on a podcast before. It was like having Mark Zuckerberg, Alex Jones, and Joey Diaz locked in the same room together. But it ended up being an important podcast for Tom and Bert because finally they realized that they're not the edgy, dangerous comedians that they thought they were. Mexican OT made these guys realize they're just day traders who were in the right place at the right time. And the way he did it was possibly one of the strangest things I've ever seen. I'm definitely going to hell for this one because literally nobody else noticed this. However, that didn't stop Bert from one-upping Mexican OT over and over again with his own stories and having his team of producers pull up old clips of himself to flex on his guest. And of course, we got the customary Bert explaining hip-hop to white people. I just hope his wife couldn't hear what he was saying from the other room.
It's interesting. We were talking about Ralph. I know Ralph doesn't like this being brought up too much, but white people wanted to put Ralph in a box and be like, so you're a Mexican comic. And then Ralph's like, no, I'm a comic. And white people couldn't understand it. And when I see you guys and I see what you guys are doing, you're so authentically you and you're not.
Oh, gross, man. Gross, bro. So, like, if anything, I know maybe culturally they're from different places and it's like talking to alien, but you're probably going to get a far better interview if you just interview the Mexican OT like he's just a regular guy instead of seeing him as this like Mexican gangbanger person that you just don't let you. I mean, you probably have more in common with him being a man or being a fucking human than you do doing this weird, like, I don't know, hacky. I'm just like, I'm trying to understand whilst also talking around him. Like, it's just a strange thing. Just have a conversation about him. I don't know. Ask him how his day is. Whether or not he has kids or
Powerful bunch.
Look what others is.
You Mexicans are people just like us whites.
Exactly. It's like he's finding out in real time this to be the truth. It's like, no. Exactly. Big up yourself to see. Wow, so you Mexicans have families too? So you guys get married too? You guys live in houses too? Wow.
What Hollywood or the music industry wants to put in the box. When I saw you fight that fucking bull, that's my favorite. That's my favorite thing I've ever seen on the internet. Pull up me.
She loves those grandiose statements. That's my favorite thing I've ever seen on the internet. Really though? Really?
Fighting a bull, if you could.
You what?
You never saw mine?
Are you fucking me?
I'm being dead fucking serious.
Oh.
Most people, myself included, when you're talking to somebody new or just somebody in general, and you're sharing or they're sharing a story, even if you have a similar story, you don't usually bring your story up. You let them have their moment. I don't know if you guys do this, but it's just like a normal thing, innit? It's like just general manners and courtesy. You don't one up them, you know? Like when they're talking about their backpacking trip through Southeast Asia, you don't say, "Oh no, I actually went to Southeast Asia too, and I had more fun than you did. Here's what I did, X, Y, and Z." No, you just let them have their moment. If anything, you become more inquisitive and ask them questions about their trip to seem like you're, you know, to kind of show that you're interested in shit. And maybe along the way you might mention what you did, but you mention it in passing. You don't try and one up. But Bert's out here like, "Oh yeah, pull up the video of me fighting the bull. I'm more impressive here. Me. I bet Reinhardt, yep. I don't know. Bert's already disgusting, so it doesn't really make sense to flip out on Bert's feet, to be honest. Bert's already a little bit of a disgusting human. He probably doesn't shower. He doesn't wear underwear. He looks the way he does. Like, it's not, I'm not that surprised that he's walking around barefooted, you know? And podcasting like that, it doesn't really gross me as much as maybe Brian Callen picking his feet and sitting like fucking cross-legged and shit on the sofa.
No,
it's a little different than yours.
I believe it, right?
Where do you see this?
I wish you would bring this show
Bro,
back.
you've been doing
Oh, buddy. Here we go.
Go!
Broke my ribs and broke my foot.
Oh, that quick.
Oh, that quick. I was over. I have one stripper that I think about.
How much would people love to see Bert get hit by a ball nowadays? That was back in the day when he was light. How much would people love? How much money would people pay to see Bert get absolutely rammed by a fucking ball nowadays?
Wow.
If I ever think about strip clubs, this one stripper.
Nice.
It was Jason Nash's bachelor party. It was in the Valley at a place called Valley Dolls. And she had Cholita tattooed across her stomach.
And sounds like she's going to ruin your life.
I was like, I bet this girl would fucking trash me.
You right?
Yeah. God.
I don't know, man. Them strip clubs, they too much.
You know, it's so funny. When I was younger, I did. When I got married and I knew that I was allowed to go, I kind of was like, I tried. And that, and I think my wife's older. So, like, we were talking about it. I got a lap dance the other day. And I was like, this doesn't feel like what I'm used to. Like, where are her moles? Like,
Skin's too smooth.
Skin's too smooth. Like, what is this, a fucking volleyball?
Last time I was in the
football, something with lumps.
Bert went on that whole authentic artist ramble just so he could bring up his own bullfight. I agree with Tom though, Bert should definitely bring that show back. I'm thinking Fear Factor meets Hurt Bert, where instead of having contestants, it's just Bert doing gross and dangerous shit to himself. Bert really needs to get his wife's name out of his mouth though. Comparing Leanne to a stripper while she's literally sitting in the next room listening to the podcast as she organizes Bert's life is so fucking disrespectful. Every time he says her name, we need Will Smith to come out from behind the camera and slap him. In this episode, though, I think Bert broke his own record for interrupting himself and getting his producer to pull up videos and Google him. Whenever he can't remember something from his own life, he'll yell out for someone to Google it or to go and get Leanne. He was so desperate to impress Mexican OT with videos of when he was younger that it ended up actually working.
Damn, bro. I ain't gonna lie. So you're a bad motherfucker and you're tough, bro. You've been doing this for a while. You fucked me up with that shit.
Yeah.
I think that's cool as bro. Like you in general.
What?
Like you're just a bad motherfucker. Those videos you were showing me earlier, that's cool, bro.
No, I was hungry for fame and money. I was a fucking idiot. I love that we're both barefoot.
Yeah.
Can I tell you? I knew you were my guy.
Yeah.
God almighty. Is there a worse smoocher and fucking oh yeah. Seeing this in real time play out is just disgusting, isn't it? But also it kind of explains why he's been so successful, you know? This ability to suck other men off, like with a straight face. Ugh, gross. Don't get me wrong, they're both doing it, but it's like, ugh.
When you rolled into my house barefoot, I'm
Yeah.
like, Tom, how often?
It's such a Bert move.
I am in barefoot. I'm a barefoot motherfucker.
I'm not gonna lie, I've not listened to much of Mexican OT's music. I've heard some freestyles, but surely he's way too talented to be doing this. I'm not sure how much is gonna really help his music career. You know, surely he should focus more on music instead of trying to impress or trying to befriend because he was already on Rogan. It's not like he needs Bert and Tom to go on Rogan. He already got on Rogan. I swear he's been on Rogan before already, Mexican OT. So why is he trying to impress or befriend two middle-aged white dudes? Like, who gives a fuck? Unless maybe he's a fan of Two Bears One Cave, which I don't think he is, but maybe he might be a fan of the show. That's why he's on there. But just focus on the music, bro. You don't need these guys' endorsements or, you know, like cosigns. Like, they're not gonna do nothing for you. I don't think so, but I could be wrong.
You can do that. Oh, nice.
It's wild.
Yeah,
hey, I opened a soda can at Mike Boosie's house with my toe.
Just at the end there, when Tom was looking down and said, "That's wild," it was because Bert and OT were rubbing their feet together. They're barefoot brothers. Unfortunately, after Mexican OT told Bert how much of a badass he is, everything turned downhill from there. Tom was asking him about what it feels like to go to Mexico when Bert had a sudden realization that he's been living a sheltered and privileged existence basically for his whole life.
I just be living in fear with that shit. I feel like I done heard so many stories. And
There's
like,
a lot of crazy stories, for
bro,
sure.
because that shit is real.
That's real, yeah.
That shit completely real.
Well, not if you're white like me. It's not real at all.
Nah, it's
I walk
real.
around Mexico City with a Rolex on, like, what's up, fellas?
Yeah.
2 TNA cigars?
Nah, but it can happen, though. You got to understand, you got motherfuckers that go home and look at their grandma's stomach, touch their back every day. They don't give a fuck about that shit. I need what you got, you know? I say you got motherfuckers that go home every day and watch their grandmama's stomach touch their back, like they starving.
Oh, okay, yeah.
Like you in a cold house.
I liked it better the way you said it. The way I heard it, just dudes going home, touching their grandmother's stomach and then touching the back. I'll be back, grandmama.
I'll be back, grandma.
I also had zero understanding of what you said, but I was like, yeah, that does sound scary, man.
Your perception of the world is so different than my perception of the world.
Right.
Like I look at it, I really am like not just glass half full, but glass overflowing.
Yeah.
I see opportunity everywhere, and I think sometimes the problem is you don't realize like that. Yeah, I guess the world doesn't see that.
Like you have a different life experience, cool, but like being this sheltered and detached from reality is fucking insane, isn't it? But it's also kind of fascinating because they all do this. They all have this. They all kind of portray this like everyman personality, which is probably a big reason why they're famous as well, because they kind of make believe they're just like you, in a way. I think so anyway. Like middle class people and shit, right? Maybe not working class, but middle class at least. They don't even try. They successfully portray an image that would lead you to believe that they are just like you, regular middle class American person. But in actuality, these are like, you know, just because he wears a hat and a t-shirt, makes you confused. But this is like super privileged, rich, upper class person who's never struggled a day in his life. Even though he was in college for 6 years, that wasn't a fucking struggle. Never struggled to pay tuition fees, never struggled to buy books, never struggled with cars, transport, food, never known a situation where the water got turned off, electricity got turned off, no food in the fridge. He's never had a single moment in their life where they struggled. But these are the same people that will find any opportunity to remind you just how hard it is for them. Just how hard it is to record podcasts. Just how hard it is to do stand-up. Which is minor, really, compared to what real people have to deal with every day. So it's kind of wild that he's like realizing this in real time in his mid-50s. But Jesus, man, like living a life this sheltered and this kind of detached from reality it must be an insane world to live in. Because when you do bump into the regular person from time to time, and they share with you, and you share a conversation that's, somewhat real, it catches him off guard. He's like, what? People's grandmothers are starving, but why? Why can't you just buy more food?
That way.
Yeah.
Not everyone's given just like opportunity after opportunity.
Bert Kreischer finally realizing in his mid-50s that he's been failing upwards his whole life is one of the most Bert Kreischer things I've ever seen. Did his parents seriously never give him the talk when he was a kid that some people have stuff that other people don't, and he was lucky to be born into wealth and privilege? I mean, this guy has adult children, yet he only just realized that maybe life isn't as easy for everyone else as it is for him. And hasn't he been touring the world doing comedy for years? For someone who's been all around the world several times, he really has absolutely zero cultural awareness when it comes to standards of living. Between him and Brendan Schaub, it really makes you wonder how their lives would have turned out if it wasn't for Joe Rogan. But speaking of bomb experts, comedy assassins like Tom Segura have a habit of relating the art and science of stand-up comedy to other art forms, except this time it didn't go the way he thought it would. Tom's reaction here was perfection.
I want to ask you about rapping, because like in comedy, when you're starting out, coming up, we bomb sometimes, right? And it's so you're like, yeah, I'm good at this, right? And you go and you just eat shit and it sits with you. You're like, it's like the dirtiest feeling. Do you have moments where you were like, whether it's a freestyle or some shit, and you just eat like as a rapper?
I don't think I've had that moment yet.
No.
But
well, you're not going to have it now. I meant like when you're like trying to figure it out. Like,
no, I don't think so.
Damn.
Yeah.
So it was always just working for you.
Yeah. I mean, well, you got to understand.
Bro, you bombed with...
Bro, does he listen to music? Why would he think that correlates? Why do you think there's a correlation between bombing on stage and like... Why not just ask, have you had a shitty show? Could you talk about a show where maybe a lot of people didn't turn up? How that felt or whatever? Bombing? Huh? Like, what? Did they... Honestly, these guys, man, like, what a living, innit? What a living. They turn up to record a pod where they don't have to set up any of the equipment. They don't have to record themselves. Don't have to do any of the editing, any of the uploading. Which gives them ample time, you'd think, to maybe do some cursory research. Right? Some surface level research on their guest. So they can ask a couple, decent questions here and there. Maybe one decent question. Nah. They don't even have to do the work to set up the pod. And they still don't do any work in order to make the interview better. Like, because why would you ask a rapper that? Like, what relation do they, like, just... Because there's definitely a question to be, maybe a good story to be had from, what was one of your worst shows? Like, maybe that's a good, maybe, again, he wouldn't admit it because he's a rapper, he doesn't want to admit he had a bad show, but bombing on stage, what?
Bert at the roast of Tom Brady last year, not to mention your most recent appearance on Kill Tony's Netflix debut, where you sat next to Joe Rogan and...
Big up Jordan in the chat, big up Jordan in the chat, big up Jordan.
Offered absolutely nothing. And then when you tried to roast the dude who mows lawns for a living about his haircut, Nobody understood what the fuck you were talking about, and then you doubled down and made it worse. These guys spend way too much time working on material at the comedy mothership that they don't realize how shit their act has become until they hit the road and don't have the protection of Joe Rogan's audience. But as for Mexican OT, there was something that he kept bringing up throughout the episode that caught me off guard. And now that I know the background, I feel like a pretty shit person. I don't care though, it's still pretty funny. He seems like a pretty strange dude who had a pretty rough upbringing, but he kept bringing up how his mum used to get railed and how gangster she was. I thought he was just going full Theo Von, but it wasn't until after the podcast that I looked up the background on all of this and it actually started to make sense. So if you guys laugh at this compilation of him talking about his mum getting railed, you're a bad person too, so don't laugh.
Your parents split up, right?
My mama told my dad she was on birth control, I think.
Oh, for real?
Yeah, I think so.
Then she was 18 when she had you, right?
Yeah.
And your mom was a gangster.
Yeah, 1,000%. Like, still to this day. Like, I remember a lot. I go back to the hood, a lot of dudes be bringing her up, and, like, I don't want to hear that shit. Because, like, in my mind, you was my mama. You know what I'm saying? For real, because, like, my mama, you know, my mama, you know, she was living. One day, my buddy Boom sat me down, and he was like, bro, these people really respect your mama. Like, he said, I just don't want it. He like, I see you feel that way, and I don't want you to feel that way because you shouldn't. Like,
Right.
I ain't trying to tell you this to make you feel good. I would just left it alone. You know, to them, like, she was black.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Just in the hood every day. And just with them thugging. Just cool in the bit. Man, I'll show you some pictures of my...
I couldn't find a picture of your mom online.
Yeah.
Because
nah.
you describe, you say, every time you hear high heels, you think of your mom.
Yeah. My dad, he would, bro, so he would have all the strip clubs jumping. And, you know, and the owners love my dad, the bitches love my dad. So he would bring the house party home every night, Monday through Sunday.
What?
And I'm living with him in the 7th grade. And he would have a house full of women and a few dudes there. And those dudes are there because he met them at the club. And he's like, oh, you rap? Bet, watch this, come on. And he'd bring them home and he'd have me rap battle these grown-ass men. What? And I'd eat them alive. And then one of his hoes would take me to school. Or I'd take the city bus. Or a taxi, not the city bus.
That is such a crazy upbringing story.
Nah,
Like,
yeah,
that
it
is
was crazy. Like I said, man, you know, I was being a kid walking in on my mama, and you know what I'm saying, my listening to my dad, you know, like I just always been around it. So
my story is like one time I got to watch a rated R movie that year. Like that's the craziest that happened to me in 7th grade. There was no strippers and rapping with that's wild, dude.
But my parents were kids when they had me, you know.
Yeah.
So I dig it.
Honestly, it wasn't the mom getting railed. I think it was just the way he kept saying your mama that got me. So naturally, I wanted to read up on his background and find out why he spoke about his mum like that. And once I read that she was killed by a drunk driver when he was only 8 years old, it all started to make sense. It's pretty sad that he never got to know her properly, and most of his memories about her were listening to or walking in on her smashing. That's gotta really fuck you up as a kid. I mean, just imagine that for a second. Nah, you guys are fucked. I can tell you're all laughing at him. Even Tom and Bert were struggling to hold it in. How would you like it if everyone you met from your old neighborhood had a story about your mama? Brutal. And so by the...
Not gonna lie, it doesn't sound funny to me. I don't know what podcast you're talking about. I don't find that funny in the slightest. I find it a bit weird to bring up in the pod, but I don't find it funny. It doesn't seem like a funny story. He's not trying to be funny either. He's just talking about his experience and his upbringing. If anything, it's quite tragic, but it doesn't sound funny in the slightest. I don't think so.
the end of the episode, Tom realized how sheltered his childhood was, and Bert had a glimpse of life in a different body. Okay, hang on, don't worry about that. Back to the mum thing for a second. You know the only reason why Bert Googled photos of his mum was to see if she was hot. I mean, I did too, but bro offered to show Bert photos of her. Seriously, that whole thing was fucking weird. I'm definitely going to hell though. At least he's open and honest about it, I guess. He definitely earned my respect. Anyway, while you're here, don't forget...
Cool. There we go. Finished. I guess it was a bit of a snoozer, to be fair. It was a bit of a snoozer episode, I'm assuming, because Podcast Cringe tried his best to extract something from it, but it wasn't much. But trying to people please like we know him to. OT, Mexican OT trying to, befriend these guys to make for a good episode pod. I guess he's doing what he needs to do as an artist to get himself out there. I personally think he should probably focus more on his music or maybe going on more relevant pods. I don't think he needs the approval or the cosigns from two middle-aged men, white men especially, in Bert and Tom, especially these type of guys. They're just not that culturally aware or whatever to make this interview even worthwhile. That's why I didn't see clips of it anywhere on any of the blogs I follow, especially hip-hop related ones, so no one really got anything from it. But I also get why he does it, because it's a good opportunity to just, get yourself out there. You never know how many fans you may win off the back of listening to these type of episodes in the first place. So I get why Mexican OT did it, but a bit of a nonsense episode, I'm not gonna lie. A bit of a nonsense episode, not going to lie. Anyways, friends, I'm gonna love you and leave you. I'm going to love you and leave you. We'll do the rest of the show tomorrow, part 2. But in my hair, I've got sunburn there, isn't it, on my forehead? It's a bit dark there. Anyway, we're gonna do part 2 tomorrow. Part 2 tomorrow. When I wake up, I'll do part 2. I'll probably do a Taz as well after that. So it'll be a jam-packed day full of shows. So big up everyone for tuning in. Smash the like button, hit subscribe, all that good shit. If you want to join the channel and become one of the 500 or so members we're trying to reach by the end of the 31 days, of course you can do that too. Link to become a member, gift the membership is down below in the description box. You can gift them also via the little $sign on your chat box. You know how to do it, standard shit. So yeah, man, see you guys again tomorrow, okay? Tomorrow for another episode of The Random Show. But for now, people, love you and leave you. Peace and blessings. Bisous, bisous. Sleep well, sleep tight. See you guys in a few hours, alright? Alright, cool. Bless. Peace.